The COVID-19 therapeutic Paxlovid not covered under China's national insurance program.
Healthcare authorities have declined to include Pfizer's COVID-19 treatment drug in a national reimbursement list that would have allowed patients to get it at a cheaper price throughout the country, saying it was too expensive. The oral medicine has been widely sought after in China since the country began phasing out its zero COVID restrictions and a surge of infections started sweeping through the nation. Although it's supposed to be prescribed by medics, that hasn't stopped people scrambling to purchase it through any means at their disposal, including local media reports buying generic Indian versions of the drug through the internet. I'm Charles Dilladesma.
Elon Musk doesn't think that he can get a fair trial in San Francisco. Instead, the billionaire wants a federal judge to shift a shareholder lawsuit trial to Texas. News and analysis at townhall.com. The resignation of a GOP senator not expected to affect the political composition of the upper house of Congress.
Republican Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska officially resigned from the Senate Sunday as he prepares to step back into academia as president of the University of Florida. In farewell remarks last week on the Senate floor, Sasse criticized the body that he had been a member of since 2015, saying, quote, "This institution doesn't work very well right now." Sasse's departure opens the seat to an appointment by Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen, a Republican. The previous governor, Republican Pete Ricketts, had said that he would seek the appointment. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
The United Arab Emirates will start teaching about the Holocaust in history classes in primary and secondary schools across the country. That according to the country's embassy in the U.S. The embassy providing no details of the curriculum. It comes after the UAE normalized relations with Israel in 2020. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yeah, that's an oxymoron.
Relax, Cowboys fans. Your team's still in the playoffs. Don't get all bucket. Washington took you to the woodshed.
Portions of the following program may contain pre-recorded material.
We were New Year's. Yeah.
This is what happens when we don't wear headphones.
Yeah, now it's working. So I'll fix that here in a minute. It was because last week was New Year's, and we didn't do a show last week. So the computer is programmed to put on to Hewitt for today, but I forgot to tell it don't do that. So I'll have to fix that. We're trying to do it again next hour too. But happy Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hopefully,
I'm serious. Did we do that for Artesia?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I looked at the log or not.
Yeah. Well, it's not in the law. It's now we're getting way inside.
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah. Sorry. No, that was a conversation for another time. I was just thinking out loud.
This is something I gotta click on here. It'll take 5
I got a look in my eye, and Mike looked concerned. I had to explain myself.
Well, when you had to look at me, like, what did I say? Like, is it not Monday? Don't question my day of the week to me.
You joke, man, but that is one of the hardest things to keep track of. Is what day is it?
By the way, I've consumed roughly 60 to 70% of that pie.
I was gonna ask how How'd that treat you this weekend?
Good and bad.
Yeah?
I mean, good because it's delicious, but
just don't know when to stop.
Today's been a rough day. I've had chronic heartburn last night, and I don't think it's related to that, but I don't know, man.
It could
Today
very
I was
well
like,
be.
whew. I ate poorly. Besides the half a pie.
What else is the weekend for? It's the whole point.
Well, it was yesterday, and we were watching the game, and I was like, you know what? Because we got like for Christmas, you get like the Omaha Steaks pack from like somebody, and so I had a bunch of like burgers and dogs and things. I was like, let's just in like the little box with like 4 chicken breasts, 4 burger pack. I was like, I'm gonna throw all these on the grill, and then we'll just grill them. And then throughout the week, we'll eat them. Mm-hmm. And so I did that yesterday. So I had like chicken sandwich and a hamburger and I think a hot dog in there at some point. And so I'm going to be, eating that the next couple of days because I just grilled like all the Christmas gifts of meat we got.
Let's just grill the entire freezer and see what happens. You meal prepped. That's all that is.
Yeah. That's in theory, that's wonderful. You end up, it's like the Civil War. Sometimes the soldiers would get 3 days rations at one time, but many of the soldiers would eat all 3 days rations at once and then have nothing for the other 2 days. So that's my only problem is, grazing and things like, oh, look, there's a stack of meat right there. Let me have a piece.
Live like a king for a day or two.
That's right.
Like a pauper for the rest of the week. It's fine.
And then spend the rest of the time on your throne.
There you go.
That's my weekend.
I like it. I got to tell you, I spent most of my weekend on my side hustle, but the scant little times I gave myself to like grab a meal, a friend of mine, like a month ago, gave me a bag of random ramen. Okay, when I say random ramen, I mean like brands that don't exist. Like we're not talking Maruchan or Top Ramen. These are like bags of like things of ramen with like English letters, but not English words. Like it looks like it should make sense to me, but it's in like Russian.
Okay.
And it's like various types of spicy ramen noodles. So I was like going through the bag, like trying different types of, like I had.
When I think ramen, I think of Eastern European bloc countries. Known for their ramen.
Here's the thing. The ramen I had yesterday was this like, I don't know what kind it was. It was very like mild in flavor, but on the front of the bag was just like a crab, and not like a cartoon crab, but like a crab, like just pulled out of the sea crab, just set on like on the front of a package.
Okay, kind of like Old Bay.
Kind of. It was not bad. It was didn't want to turn it away. Put it that way.
Nothing like eating Czechoslovakian crab ramen.
It was interesting. It was very, very interesting. You look at these words and you're like, your brain wants to make sense of them because it's in English letters in like English formations of what you think words should be, but they're not words that I've ever seen before. I don't want to say it's Russian because there's none of those like weird turny aroundy letters. I don't know what they're called, but it's from some Ukraine. I don't know where it's from, but it's from some Eastern Bloc country. I'll do that.
Take a picture of it and see if we can
take a look because it was certainly an excursion yesterday.
Interesting. So, but it tastes good.
I didn't kick it out of bed. I mean,
all right.
Ain't nothing a little hot sauce can't make better.
Nice.
That's right.
You hear things like gas station sushi. I don't think I've heard Eastern Bloc ramen.
Yeah, you ever heard?
I think that's a new one.
You never wake up in the morning thinking you're going to talk about your bag of random ramen, but sometimes, well, that's where the conversation leads.
It's is it beet flavored or something?
None of that yet. Yesterday I did, or day before yesterday, there was one. Ramen. It was like it was a chili flavor, but then on the top it just had a piece of cheese. So I'm like, is this cheese flavored? I couldn't tell from any of the writing.
Yeah,
but it was fine. It just tasted like hot.
Nice. I'm always been a guy that says beans. If they're not in chili, it's not chili. I'm pro beans in chili. Yet Saturday we were at the store getting stuff, and like I said, we decided we're gonna grill up hot dogs, and my wife wanted chili for the hot dogs. And I learned, and I'm a rube. I just never looked for this before. I guess I never thought nothing about it. But I was there at the store, and we came across something called chili sauce. for hot dogs.
Yeah.
And it's basically chili without beans.
Chili with no beans. Yeah, that's what I've always said. That's hot dog sauce with no beans.
That's what makes me happy. Is what these Texans so-called chili, they call it hot dog sauce. And I'm like, that makes me so happy because I'm right. And those Texans want to admit that so much that their sorry beanless chili is chili. And it's not. No, it's mammoth.
It's meat sauce.
And when I saw that in the store and they called it hot dog sauce, I'm like, yes!
That's a win for me.
Texans, you've been eating hot dog sauce your whole time, you idiots.
Nothing I like more than settling up to a big old bowl of hot dog sauce.
So you Texans keep eating your hot dog sauce thinking it's chili. I'm going to have some real chili. All right, let me give you the rundown for today's show. We're going to talk about various food products for the next. No, I'm just kidding.
Eastern Bloc ramen.
Yeah. Now we're going to get into French Chinese cuisine. You know what makes the best egg roll? The French. But anyway, just kidding. Matt Bristol, actually, he's been patiently waiting while we've been talking insufferably through our bad eating habits, or mine at least, anyway. And, of course, Matt from his office all the way on the 4th floor from Bristol office going to join us. He pops in every month to give us sage legal advice when it comes to family planning, things like wills to businesses, LLCs, and knowing what that means and when to use it and when you're not supposed to, and all things like that. So we'll have our monthly conversation, first one of 2023, with Matt here in just a few. In the 8, 9 o'clock hours, we're going to replay some interviews. Friday, Barbara Gomez from Main Street Roswell joined us in the 9 o'clock hour, gave us kind of a preview of what's going on in 2023, some things on the horizon for Main Street Roswell. So we'll play that interview for you. And then last week we had Kevin Mavers, City Development Director, talked about the last city development meeting for 2022 and talked about some of the things. So it gives us an update on businesses around town and some of the things that are happening. So we'll play that for you, the most recent one, till we get the new one here. Plus, we'll have all of your other features that include the news of the local variety, national variety, Wall Street business update, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show.
That's right, Maggie.
There you go. And I didn't wear any of my Commander's gear today. I was tempted. But I said, they're not worthy of bragging on things because they still stink. But anyway, they just, at this moment, stink less than your team. It is 16 minutes after 7 o'clock. Here is your weather, which pretty mild for week number 2 of January.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure covering our area, and things look fair for the next few days. A little bit of a warming trend coming up, and no rain heading our way for a while. For today, we're expecting a high close to 70, and we should get plenty of sunshine and light wind. Overnight will be clear, low 30s, and then we'll get a little bit more breezy on Tuesday. Sunshine, though, and warming into the low 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, pretty mild week, actually, but right at the moment, a little chilly, 30 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 69% with winds out of the west at 3 miles per hour. Another warm day today. Sunny skies. They don't say we're going to hit 70 officially. 69, though. Winds will be out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. It's as good as 70, just without the 7. For tonight, we're looking at mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 35 degrees. Winds out of the west at around 5 miles per hour. For you Tuesday, we're busting right through the 70 mark and going to mid-70s tomorrow. Mostly sunny, 74 for a high. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 39 degrees. West winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour. What comes up in New Mexico must get windy. That's the other rule here. So on Wednesday, when the nice temps come, the wind's right behind it, and there it goes. Sunny, 65 for a high on Wednesday, but the winds will be lingering out of the south. Early, 10 to 20. Later in the day, shifting to the west, increasing 20 to 30, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour. Wednesday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 33. Guess what? Thursday's going to be cooler. We're going to drop down into the upper 50s on Thursday. Sunny sky, 57 for a high. And then Friday, we will be back into the low 60s, sunny and 63. And then pretty pleasant for the weekend. Sunny, 68 Saturday, partly cloudy and 65 on Sunday. So another good weekend for sitting outdoors in nice weather, staring at your TV, watching football. All right, it is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report, your first one of 2023 with Smiley Wooten. Then a quick commercial break, and then we'll have Matt Bristol with Bristol Law Office join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction, a big January run to start 2023, and a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality weaned native calves, light yearlings, young bred cows. We expect to sell 2,450 head, breaking down like this: 200, 250 weighing cows and bulls, 150, 200 pairs bred cows, 1,900, 2,000 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 31 bred cows, excellent quality, 85% black, white face, Angus and Brangus cross cows, bred to Angus and Charolais bulls. These cows 3 to 6 years old. 30 bred cows, excellent quality, 90% black, white face, Angus, Brangus crosses, bred to Angus bulls, 3 to 6 years old. 40 bred cows, excellent quality, older set of Angus cows, second, third trimester, bred to Angus. 56 young open cows, excellent quality, 85% black, white face Angus cross cows, pregged open. These cows 3 to 6 years old. Also 48 Holstein whey cows off one dairy. 70 good Holstein steer calves off the same dairy, 250, 400 pounds. 81 calves Mr. David Gable at Roe Mesa, excellent quality, 90% black, white face Angus cross calves. Cattlemaster 5, 7-way at Brandon, 375, 550 pounds. 77 calves H.C. Hendricks, Flying H, New Mexico. X-quality black Angus and Brangus crosses, cattle wean 90 days, 400, 550 pounds. 100 calves L.S. Cattle Company at Corona. Good quality English crossbred calves, cattle wean 45 to 100 days, 2 rounds of shots, 375, 600 pounds. 72 calves, the Boyles Ranch here west of Roswell. Good quality Charolais cross calves, long age, medium condition, 350, 550 pounds. 124 light yearlings RS Cattle Company, Belen, New Mexico. Good quality Angus crossbreds, weaned 100 plus days, 2 rounds of shots right off some fields, 550, 700 pounds. 88 calves Mr. Gene Cassidy at Las Cruces. X-quality black, white face, red, white face English cross calves. Shots at Brandon, 375, 550 pounds. 59 calves Klein Cattle Company, Marfa, Texas. X-quality black, white face Angus cross calves, 450, 600 pounds. 50 light yearlings Anderson Ranch, Paiute, Texas. X-quality black, white face Angus and Brangus cross yearlings, 500, 700 pounds. 46 calves Mr. John Jackson down at Lake Arthur. Good quality black, white face Angus and Brangus crosses. These cattle wean 45 days, 2 rounds of shots, 400, 500 pounds. 54 calves L.A. Ranch here east of Roswell. Good quality quarter ear crossbred calves, 1 round of shots, 400, 650 pounds. Sale time this morning 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 10:30. Be selling calves and yearlings around 12 o'clock noon. We expect to sell 2,450 head today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Mike. How you doing?
Doing great. Happy 2023 to you.
Well, Happy New Year,
Yeah.
and gosh, it can't be as bad as last year, right? We hope.
Every time I hear that, I always, right in my back of my head, I'm always hearing the hold my beer. So never say never in my world here, but because we were probably saying like 2020s or then, all right, let's see what's, next couple years ain't fared any better. So, but at least we could say 2023, we feel like, all right, new chance, new beginnings, new, and that's kind of like what we talked about last month. Was we using the holidays and this time as which is always a good advice, and if you didn't do it this time, then maybe plan the first part of 2023 to do this. But sit down with your family, especially if you're kind of the monarch of the family and the one that's in one has the estate planning with all, and you have the kids and the family and everything else, and you don't have a plan in place or you haven't updated that plan in recent years, then it's time to A, get it updated, and B, put everyone on the same page so they know what to do in the event you have to start executing some of the things in the will and all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just this past October, they made a rule for attorneys is that when attorneys have to have a written they call it a succession plan, but it's really how to shut down the office in case something happens to you.
Okay.
But it has to be in writing. You share it with the staff. Another attorney is one has to shut stuff down, and so you have to have that person on board.
Which makes sense because of the many files, whether they're closed cases or ongoing cases, they all need to be treated with the same, security and respect that as an attorney does with all of their cases. So.
Yeah, so you treat it like a business. So I've got a written list of, priorities are if there's hearings, they need to be called off or postponed, and let opposing counsel know that, I've croaked, that kind of thing. Make sure the staff gets paid, shut down the website, notify the state bar, got this whole long list of
I think staff
things.
made sure that part of the checklist got
Staff
taken care of.
voted that real high on priority.
Make sure staff gets paid.
Yeah.
Put that right up there.
And families should treat their families as a business.
Sure.
You got the CEO, you got the board of directors as the adult children. And everybody should know the succession plan. Everybody should know how things are being divvied up, so there's no fighting later.
That's the big thing. If you're trying to avoid the Hatfields and McCoys situation after you pass or after that's we always hear of those families where they have where unfortunately a death in the family and inheritance tends to ruin family sometimes, especially if we're talking big numbers here, but not always. I mean, sometimes families get destroyed over a dog or something is what some would consider pretty low on the importance scale here, and but if you have the plan, that really avoids all.
Yeah, so if mom and dad are going to divide things evenly, they need to let everybody know that, and I just repeat it year after year after year. Or if it's going to be unevenly, they need to let everybody know that. So even if there's a child that mom and dad kind of doted on and helped support and given money to their whole adult life, and if mom and dad are still going to split everything equally after that, then they need to tell everybody. So there's none of this, well, that's not what dad told me in the private conversation, 12 years ago.
Yeah, unfortunately that's how those little family squabbles start and can escalate and evolve into something much bigger if not dealt with. So.
Well, and if you think about it, so Mike's folks say, okay, we're going to divide everything evenly among the 12 kids, and so now Mike's thinking, 1/12 of nothing's pretty much nothing, but at least you can start preparing for it. Now you know how much or how little you're going to get. At least you can start preparing for it ahead of time.
And to be honest, it gives the other siblings a plan too. Like maybe the family, mom and dad or whomever, have decided, yes, we're dividing it equally those 12 ways, but maybe as a family, the kids all together talking, it's like, look, young Bobby needs it more than Ted does, and Sue is, and so they may come up with their own little plan after and say, all right, we're all going to take our 12th, and I'm going to give my 12th to Bobby because Bobby's not doing as well. I mean, But that gives them a chance to kind of amicably work their own end if they're thinking, all right, I appreciate what mom and dad are doing, but I'm okay. Let's help out younger sister Sue or older brother Bob, whatever.
Well, what if there's a young one of the younger children typically stay home and take care of mom and dad for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of their lives, and so mom and dad decided to leave the house to that one child.
Sure.
Well, at least tell everybody what the plan is.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look, this sibling's been taking care of me and stuff. Therefore, we're going to bequeath him the house, and that kind of stuff happens all the time. And
yes,
and most families, if you talk about it and deal with it, they're pretty cool with it. And if you're a family that communicates and is pretty socially, get along and things like
somewhat,
that. Yeah. I mean, it's only when people hide and intentionally or unintentionally pull the wool over family members' eyes is where problems occur.
Or failure to communicate.
Yeah.
Mom and dad don't communicate well.
Yeah.
Or they refuse to answer the question.
Sure.
Or they don't put it in writing. Hello, if you don't have it written well, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, especially in the state of New Mexico, and videos don't like. I'm sure you run across every day where someone took a FaceTime video of Aunt Sue or Uncle Bob, and Bob's in there talking about he's going to leave his motorcycle to this person and that to this person, and none of that's going to hold up in court.
That's not going to hold it. Handwritten wills don't work in New Mexico, so it's got to be a typed-in document.
And you've said this before, but the reason for that is to prevent any last-minute coercion, or because if it's a handwritten note, who's to say there's not a gun to that person's head saying,
exactly,
change your will,
right?
And with a handwritten note. Or that there's not someone on the other side of that video with a gun to your head saying, no, we're going to change it right now.
Yep.
All your stuff's going to me. Let's face it, most times that's not what's going on, but sometimes it is. But when you have an actual lawyer prepared will that's been typed out, signed, witnessed by 100 people, and done all the things we've all, that's gone through the will process, that's a little bit lengthy of a process to make that official. But that's what makes it official, and that way that it prevents any coercion or under duress decisions, any of that kind of stuff. So that's why your little FaceTime video of Grandma talking about leaving what her last assets to anybody is not a now. That might be a great conversation for your family to have. Is there some influx on who gets what and all that, and say, well, Grandma left this video and family wants to talk about it and say, obviously, that Grandma's not under duress here, and y'all want to do that for your own personal thing. But in the eyes of the law, and whatever's on the will is what's going to be carried out.
That's right, and that's good for the person making the wills because this is going to be enforceable. This is how things are going to happen. The people you want to get certain things are going to get them because you've done the will correctly.
And that's the only. And yes, you're right. 9 times out of 10, the video is probably legit and real, but that's not acceptable because there's so many ways to manipulate that and alter or not make it appear as real intentions when it truly isn't. So whereas signed, notarized, witnessed, the whole preparation, there's really no chance for the kind of stuff we're talking about to happen when it's done that way.
Well, especially in a second marriage, wills are so important. Estate planning is so important. So husband owns the house pre-marriage. He gets married. He and wife live there 20 years, and he dies without a will. So who gets how much of the house?
I'm thinking the family that grew up in it, they're going to want to claim to it, even though they may not, unless you bequeath it that way in the will. It may go to the second wife if depends on how the assets are at that time and everything else. With no will in place, it kind of usually goes to the married partner that's still alive and married and everything.
Well, that's a community property question versus sole and separate property question. So assets acquired during marriage are community property. Debts acquired during marriage are community property. So on separate properties, anything acquired pre-marriage or during the marriage by gift or inheritance. So when husband owned the house pre-marriage, that's sole and separate. If you die without a will, 3/4 of the house goes to the children, 1/4 goes to the surviving spouse. So the surviving spouse has a 1/4 interest in the house, but the kids get 3/4. So if the husband had wanted to take care of the 20-year marriage wife, he failed to do so because he didn't make a will.
Kids got something, and the new wife getting a little something, but yeah, the ex does not.
Yeah, so the kids get 3/4 of the house, and now you got this widow who's probably on Social Security, and how does she cash those kids out? She can't afford it.
Yeah. Not to mention, depending on relationships there, that's a prime example of how do you want to create a huge dust up in your family after you're gone. Yep. There's prime example number one right there.
and it's very natural because the kids are going to say, what dad was, my dad my whole life,
Sure.
and you were only in the picture 20 years.
Sure. Yeah, it's because you're getting emotions in there now, and let's face it, kids of the natural parents are, relationships are relationship, but are going to want to defend their natural parents' rights to certain property or whatever in an event like this situation. It's like, mom was around for all this, you weren't. She should get it, not you. Kind of mentality.
Oh, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
And emotionally, they may be right, but if it's not written down in the will that way, or it was not covered in a will, that may not be what happens, and that's what you got to be. That's why you have to cover your bases.
Well, I got a case where the second marriage, husband was injured on the job, got a large settlement, but couldn't work because of the injury, and a few years later he passes away. So we got the house problem is one thing. And then the kids are, well, what about dad's gun collection? Well, in this case, it was a 30-year marriage. So probably most of those guns are, less than 30 years old. And then the kids now want from stepmom part of the settlement where dad was injured. And it's like they have absolutely no claim to that stuff, but just whether it's anger or greed or misconception.
Where can I hurt the most? Yeah.
Oh gosh, they just greed.
It's not about the money. It's about the reaction they're going to get from coming after that.
Yeah. So it's just weird stuff goes on, and you got to make plans, folks.
Scorn family is one of the worst battles that you can try to get out of or overcome or try to resolve because there's so much emotion involved and let's face it, the egregious things that are done hurt much more when it's family doing it versus someone you barely know. You know what I mean? And it just creates deeper scars, deeper emotions, and ultimately bad breakups and bad fights.
Well, I had a case where second marriage, they got married 35 years ago. And husband's kids disliked stepmom so much they forced dad into divorcing her.
Wow.
I don't know how they forced that, but they forced dad into divorcing her, but they stayed together as a couple for 35 years. Joint bank accounts, both names on...
So they're practically married in common law, yeah.
Yeah, so they got, both names of the cars and all this stuff, and everything's in joint names because they've been together 35 years. And dad dies, and the kids show up, and they want everything. It's like, well, dad worked a minimum wage, and stepmom actually had a ranch and used the cattle down from the ranch to buy all this stuff. So yeah, he ain't getting jacked.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it was just this huge, ugly fight.
And the fact that it went down the way it went down initially probably cemented that one for all of time. There,
our stepmom wasn't giving up anything. Oh no!
Remember 30 years ago when you ousted me? Payback is a dish best served cold sometimes, and that was a very cold one, but very brutal. So. Yeah.
So it's just weird stuff goes on.
Yeah, that's why you got to communicate. That's why when we were talking last month and saying the families generally during the holidays, the family gets together, even if it's sometimes the one time a year where everyone's at the house. Have these conversations, sit and talk about this stuff, get the good and bad and the ugly, because you don't want this stuff to be sorted out when someone's actually passed, because you've got enough grieving, you've got enough planning, and who's going to be this, you got a logistics of people coming out of town, there's a lot going on when there's a funeral going on. And that isn't the time if you're doing it right, that's not the time to talk about who gets what and all that. That's the time you're supposed to be grieving for your family and going through the funeral process.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff should have been worked out prior, and then afterwards, it's just a matter of executing the will and delineating up who gets what and calling it good from there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it's so unfortunate that families break up and all go away because there was some confusion on who got the house or who got the car or who was bequeathed what and wasn't bequeathed this and that family situation. Well, why did they leave all the money to Sue? Johnny's the one that earns it, you know what I mean? Deserved it and all that. Those conversations need to be had before, hashed out, worked out. And then, because there's enough going on when the death happens. And the last thing you want to do is have the knockdown drag out in the church.
During the funeral service.
At the wake or whatever it is. Yeah. That's when you start getting into your television drama and movie drama type scenario stuff.
Well, my grandfather was real good about, this is what the will says. This is what I want. And I don't want anybody fighting. And this is the way it's going to be. And you hear that for 5, 6, 7 years. And so you're ready.
Exactly.
And so, okay, this is the way he wanted it. And we're not going to fight about it. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
And then to be honest, if there's little trinkets and treasures and things, that's the time when you say, okay, you're mature enough and I'm going to bequeath you my pocket knife or whatever, those family heirloom treasures, my watch from here or whatever it is.
Take turns picking.
Yeah, do stuff, those kind of things. That's the time you kind of go over all that stuff. Because and let's face it, unless that stuff you have is worth tons of cash, you're not putting that in a will anyway. Right. You're not. I mean, a lot of us have that image of the will, and it's always like the estate of the mansion, and so all these fancy rich people get in a room, and it's like, I bequeath my prized golden swan to Uncle Gertrude, whatever it is. And it's not really like that.
No, it's not.
Those kind of things you kind of sit and say, that's when you pull your son, daughter, kid, whoever it is aside and be like, look, this is the watch my grandfather gave me, and I've had it my whole time, and now I'm going to give it to you to give to your kids, blah, 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 whatever it is. That's that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. But
I've got a common question. People call me up and they'll say, they lost a spouse a week or two ago, or mom and dad. What do we need to do first? That's a very common question of what's the first thing we need to do, and I tell them absolutely nothing, because until you get a death certificate, you can't do anything.
Yep.
So just take the time and grieve. Don't worry about trying to do anything right now.
Because you can't really do anything till that death certificate.
You can't. So just take the time and grieve, mourn.
I would add another level to that for folks, because that's one thing you're going to be getting to. But if you have the person that's deceased, it's also prior military. The other document you're going to be needing a lot is their DD-214. If you've got veteran stuff and things that, all of that, and that death certificate you got to give 100 copies of, but your DD-214 is another, and for people in the military, that's your separation paperwork. That's the paperwork that officially says you've been dishonorably or honorably or whatever discharged from the United States military. When you served, how long you served, what medals, what you did, it's everything. It's in there. But that's your foot with. And when you're in the military, when you lose that, it's very hard to get it replaced. So they always tell you to make copies and all that kind of stuff. Or some would even recommend you make it a public document with your county clerk's office. That way, if you do lose it, you can go to the clerk's office and get a copy pretty easy. Whereas if you lose it the other way and have to go through VA, good luck. You can get it, but it takes like a year. And it takes a really long time. So talk with your family about that one too, where you keep the wills and everything. If there's a DD-214, like my wife knows, we've got about 10 copies sitting in our folder, and because when you're alive, you need them too. Anytime you apply for loans or things like that, and you get a VA hookup, or like military, like I go to the DMV to get my license renewed. I bring my DD-214. They put a veterans thing on there that way. Cool. That shows me as a veteran, and and get discounts on Veterans Day. But anyway, that's about all I could do. You didn't really do with it. But it's that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, treat that DD2, especially when your person is passed. They're going to want as many copies of that, especially if you're trying to apply for some of their VA benefits or get some of their VA benefits transferred over. That DD214 you're going to need to have with you.
Good to know. Good to know.
So keep that is just as important document as the wills and your deed to your house and all the things you keep in the important paper drawer. Keep a dozen copies there, and then I would take your original and keep it off site. Get a safety deposit box someplace, like we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
and
safe deposit box.
And keep those documents, maybe the original copy of your will, the things like that. Keep that there. That way, in case your house burns down or something,
exactly,
there's an off-site location for this stuff.
Right.
And that way, that's why you can keep the original there. If it burns down, then you got a copy of it there. Don't keep it with the other 12 copies at the house.
Yeah, the safe deposit box should have the DD-214, your original wills, powers of attorney, car titles, birth certificates, family heirlooms. Should throw in some kind of evidence of who's the car insurance with, who's the house insurance with. So it doesn't have to be a 3-ring folder with tabs and an index.
Unless you just like doing that kind of stuff.
Unless you like doing that kind of stuff.
My wife would do that because she's a teacher and everything comes in a packet.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So if she loves that kind of stuff, or you love that kind of stuff, or your stuff is complicated enough where you need that.
Sure, a little organization.
But most people do not need that level of organization.
Yeah, a folder with those documents in it, people can figure it out.
Yeah, if you've got to pay online, then you just print out the receipt. It says Geico, you write car on the piece of paper, throw it in the safe deposit box. If you pay by check, you can just have an envelope. It's got a return address, says Geico, you write car, house on the envelope. People are going to figure the rest of that story
that way,
out.
Give them a trail to follow.
At least a trail, yeah. Oh, because if you're like most adults, you have adult children.
Sure.
You're a parent. You don't tell your kids how much you have, probably never where it is.
Well,
and the kids have no idea if the house burns down, who do we call for car insurance?
My brother and I had a lot of experience that when my mother passed. She passed back in 2004, and at the time that my parents were divorced and she was living by herself and all that. So it was literally, and my mom was not the most, my mom could cook some mean meals. She could craft and sew and do crochet, the best of them, but not always the best with finances and balancing, things like that. So it was a nightmare going through her stuff and trying to figure out her little bills. And like she had a fetish for Finger Hut that I had to, that we had to, a lot of work of shutting down, tracking down. And then when my mother was a pack rat. So there was literally a 2-bedroom house that was packed to the rafters of just stuff.
Oh, wow.
So it was, but yes, trust me, speaking from experience, the more information you leave for that stuff, the much easier it is for your family to either shut down bills that need to be paid or pay the ones that need to be paid, or doing, ones you're on hook for versus the ones you're off the hook for.
Or in your instance, you give a copy of your will to your brother. Says, well, if my wife and I both passed, and you get my stuff. And so you and your wife both pass, your brother pulls out the will and says, and I'll leave my brother my retirement.
It's like, what does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah. Where's that?
Yeah.
Where do I find that?
Is that a treasure trove, or is this a concept that never actually got off the ground? What are we talking here?
Yeah. So who does he call first?
Yeah.
Leave the guy a trail of crumbs.
Exactly.
Give him a clue.
Yeah.
Gee, Fidelity, 401k, Vanguard through my employment or something.
Yeah.
Give the guy a clue.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just that's and this is what we talked about earlier. Have this plan, and then use the holidays, because typically it's time when all family together,
right,
on dispersing the plan in the event of.
Right.
It's not a fun conversation. No one wants to talk about, hey, when I die, this is how you do it. But you will save so much hassle, headache, and heartache by doing it this way when that time comes.
And encourage your adult children to do the same thing with their families.
Absolutely. Set the example. Do it with your own, and tell your kids. When you start establishing your own families and lives here, you have the same conversation here, and you tell them, You know everything about me. Your kids, when they're of appropriate age, should also know everything about you. And, obviously your spouse and everybody else should be on that page as it's being happen.
Absolutely. Yep.
When it comes to your estate planning, your partner's your partner. When you get married, that's the reason you're married. All those kind of decisions they make as one now. And that's where you have to be on the same page.
Yeah, and if you're a young adult, you have minor children, and most young adults say, well, I don't have anything. I don't really need a will. Well, you need a will to name a testamentary guardian for your minor children. That's hugely important, because without naming them in a will, who's going to raise those kids, now you got this big potential fight of people, no, I want the kids, no, I want the kids. So you got the grandparents pulling back and forth, or maybe you got an uncle, or you got your wife's brother who drinks beer all day, wants to raise the kids because he wants the Social Security money that they're going to get.
And not to mention,
just a huge mess.
Because of the world we live in, and I'm not trying to say this to be just, but what I'm saying is not every family scenario is the same. Husband, wife, 2 kids. What I mean by that is a lot of times there are families with a mother who's got 4 kids, 5 kids, and there's 3 different dads in the picture. That's when you really have to be on your A game when it comes to this stuff, because each kid might, when you die, they're depending on the other dads, they may want the kids or may not. I mean, it really, depending on each scenario. I know, granted, some of those scenarios, a lot of time there's an abandoned kid in there, and so probably not much dibs on that kid after, from the other parent here. But you've got to really have that plan in place, especially if there's multiple kids and multiple sets of grandparents and multiple, mom or dads to go. If you don't have a plan in place, I guarantee there will be some kind of dispute after you're gone.
Oh, absolutely.
If those kids are still below, adult age.
And do you really want those kids split up?
Yeah.
And, parceled out?
My sister-in-law very much that now, they had 5 kids, but there was different. Now 2 of the kids, they never see no more. Because they're different daddy, and he's taking them this way, and the other kids. So it's really sad that that they're in that scenario now, because they were a happy little family. Mom dies of cancer in her young.
Yeah.
And now we got 5 kids with 3 different dads in 3 different directions.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. It is. It's sad to see. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's the thought we're talking about. Plan for that. So when these bad, unexpected deaths happen, you've got at least a plan in place.
Right.
To get the people that need to move forward a place to do.
Get that succession plan in place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got a few minutes here if you got time for our fact or fiction and all that good stuff too.
Yeah, actually I spent the weekend getting organized. I wasn't so much break resolution thing, but I kind of got the next
kind of a
year laid out.
Year planning, cleaning kind of thing,
Yeah, because, for the audience, sometimes Mike and I get together and we work out these shows, and sometimes we kind of show up and
wing it. Yeah.
wing it. So I kind of got organized with an outline that if we want to use the outline, we got it. If something else comes up, then we go with it.
It just, what wild hair happens on my head in that particular morning. I'm sorry. Whatever.
Could be either way. Yeah. Could be either way.
Yeah.
Let's see, what time is it?
It's
we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So, we can do 2. So,
okay.
On a cactus.
Yes.
So let's prickly pear cactus. What's the leaf and what's the stem? What part of the plant is the leaf and what part of the plant is the stem?
See, logic would dictate to me that the leaf would be like the paddle, but I imagine it's not.
Correct. It's not.
I mean, if you were trying to take a tree and then you look at a cactus next to each other, one would say, okay, if those are the leaves on this tree, then I would think the paddles are. But I'm guessing they're not, because, let's face it, too, you grab a leaf and there's not a lot of nourishment in the leaf. You grab that paddle and there's all kinds of stuff going on there.
So what happened, thousands and thousands of years ago is these plants lived in environments that had more water.
Right.
So it wasn't a problem. But slowly over time, these environments would become drier and drier. So to prevent water loss, the leaves formed a wax coating on the top. And so that would have less moisture loss.
Okay.
And as the climate continued to get drier, the leaves began to curl under a little bit to try and prevent water loss from underneath the leaf. And then they wanted to store water, so they used the stems to store water during the dry periods. And the leaf curled and got waxy and curled and got waxy until it became a thorn.
Interesting.
And so the thorn is actually the leaf of the plant.
So is it just evolving to its climate to survive?
To survive. And so the big green paddle is actually the stem. That's where all the water is stored.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
So it
smart plant.
Now you kind of wonder, like, over the years, how those plants have evolved from, like if you look at the early evolution of a cactus, would it look like a tree like this? You know what I mean? That's kind of interesting.
It'd be a shrub, some kind of shrub, yeah.
And I imagine these different cactus, depending on the climate they're in, started forming where you see certain, you kind of see like the cartoon style cactus like in Arizona. Like when you think of Wile E. Coyote and you see the cactus.
Saguaro, yeah.
Yeah, those are what most people think of a cactus or a cacti. But here in New Mexico, we have less of those kinds of cactus and different other kinds of cactus, and your yucca plants and all, which are probably kissing cousins of all these cactus in some way, shape, or form.
The barrel cactus, the prickly pear cactus. Yeah. You had prickly pear as a Boy Scout. You ever eat that as a Boy Scout?
I had it not as a Boy Scout. I had it my last time I went on vacation to the Grand Canyon. I went and found a bunch of prickly pear products. Candy, jellies, and because that's a big thing in Arizona. That's, we got green chili here. They had prickly pear there at Grand Canyon. And so I, for the first time, had prickly pear through that. It was quite good.
It is. It is good. If you eat it wild, be very careful.
Yeah, I've never had it wild. I've had it professionally processed and
much safer.
Yeah, kind of like huckleberry, which is certain regions too.
So in ancient Rome, they built things with marble and in Greece. And so if you went marble shopping for the household, if there were imperfections in the marble, that the seller would use wax, and he'd kind of wax over, like you'd wax your car, he'd wax the marble, and he'd hide imperfections that way. And so the word for wax was cero. That was the word for wax.
Okay.
So if you wanted the real deal marble that wouldn't hide imperfections, it was sincero, without wax.
Okay.
So that's where we get the word sincere.
Interesting.
It's just the true, real deal. Is being sincere. So it's without wax. And so 2,000 years later, we're using the same word. I find that just, how do those words survive?
It is interesting how that evolves.
Yeah.
So quick note, next time you're marble shopping, ask for sincere marble.
Well, actually, one of my grandfathers was from Greece.
Okay.
And he didn't talk much about the old country, but his brother did, Uncle Harry. And so he'd ask Uncle Harry all these questions. And we said, well, what was the house like when you grew up as a child? And he says, the kitchen was all marble. The bathrooms were all marble. He says, we couldn't afford wood.
Because it wasn't available there.
It was the cheapest thing they had was marble.
And that I've experienced in several things. It's just like going to Maine and you get a lobster, and it's a lot cheaper than it is when you get one here. It's just because that's where you're available. You know? Believe it or not, back in colonial times, lobster was poor people food. It was common, and everybody, delicacies were things like eel.
Oh, interesting.
But lobster was poor people food back in colonial times. Things like that.
Well, and even in the early 1900s, they finally passed a law. I think it may have been in Maine or some other state that says you can't feed people in the jail, the penitentiary.
Yeah.
You can't make them eat lobster more than 3 times a week.
You hear that now, and you're like, maybe I need to do a stint.
Yeah. It was just so common, and that's what it was used for. It's just funny how tastes change.
Yeah, I know, it is. It's like, this lobster's tepid. Anyway.
Well, they may have cooked it really badly, too.
Yeah, it's true, too. Yeah, I'm not saying they may not have spent the time and dedication to properly steam those lobsters and things, too. So it may have been a little functified.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Of course, if you have any questions or need any help, advice, best thing to do. When it comes to legal stuff, just give Matt's office a call or go to his website, bristoloffice.com.
.net. We're .net now, yeah.
That's right. And then schedule an appointment and sit down and talk with you. And
come ask questions.
Yeah. Could be that's all it is. It could be just saying, you know what, all you need to do is go to the clerk's office, fill out a few forms, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Or it may be something more
more
detailed.
Complicated.
And either way, he'll take you.
At least you know.
Yeah.
At least you know. So come in, ask questions, get information, be more informed.
Yeah.
Make a more informed decision.
So it's bristolawoffice.net.
.net.
And what's the phone number?
65-5284.
Very good. And call, get an appointment, and put it this way. No questions too dumb, too simplified.
That's right.
Ask it, and he can tell you something. If it's a simple fix, he'll be happy to tell you and do that. But if you think it's a simple fix, he may tell you, you know what, that's only one scenario of it. More than likely, you're going to have to do this, this, and this, and that's where he's there to help for that.
That's why we get paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you next month, the second Monday of the month.
Yes.
February, whatever date that is.
Yeah, it'll be right first part of February, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, please, if you guys have any questions, bristoloffice.net. Anything family law, financial, that kind of stuff, he'll be happy to help you take.
Be glad to.
Absolutely.
Look forward to it.
Well, thank you, sir. As
Thank you,
always,
Mike.
Appreciate the conversation.
Enjoyed it.
We'll see you here in about a month.
All righty.
All right. It is 7:59 already. Hours just flying by. Let's go ahead and take a quick break before news. Don't go away.
When Rhonda was experiencing severe abdominal pain, she knew she could count on Artesia General Hospital's emergency department to provide critical care any time of day or night.
I didn't think twice about driving the 45 minutes from my home to Artesia's ER. I felt like I was their only patient. Excellent care from everyone, and I'm thankful beyond measure.
Each year, thousands of patients trust Artesia General Hospital with their health emergency. With specialty certifications in advanced adult and pediatric life support and trauma care, their emergency room physicians have the experience you need when every second counts. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/emergency.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Brief stop at the southern border on his way to a summit in Mexico City. The president spent a couple of hours in El Paso, Texas, yesterday afternoon. Northern California seeing more destructive storms today after getting hammered over the weekend by torrential rains, heavy snow, and fierce winds. A vast area from north to south is under a flood watch, and winter storm watches and warnings have been posted for higher elevations inland. Forecasters say it's all because of atmospheric rivers sweeping in from the Pacific and marching across the state. Brazilian authorities say they have restored order after thousands of ex-President Bolsonaro supporters stormed the Congress, the Supreme Court, and Brazil's presidential palace. The BBC's Vanessa Bushluta.
There have been at least 200 arrests. So this number obviously keeps going up. And also, interestingly, 40 buses have been seized because these protesters were bused to Brasilia for these events. So this was pre-planned. And actually, the security forces are saying that they have already located who paid for the buses, which, of course, they say is a big indication of who is behind that. There's investigations underway. What Lula said was that there have been various speeches in which the ex-president encouraged the rioting and this invasion of the Congress.
Lula, a reference to newly inaugurated President Luiz Ignacio Lula da Silva. Some 7,000 nurses have gone on strike at two of New York City's biggest hospitals, Mount Sinai's main campus in Manhattan and Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx. Watching Wall Street, stocks in positive territory this morning. The Dow's up 149 points. The Nasdaq ahead 176. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You know that your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. At Key City Capital, we know that as well and would like you to know about investments we believe can make sense in an inflationary environment. For more details, check us out at keycitycapital.com. Key City offers passive investments in cash-flowing real estate that can help offer a hedge against inflation and stock market volatility. When prices rise, more couples and families further delay home ownership. Key City Capital owns thousands of rental units with attractive prospects for income and appreciation as more and more renters apply to live in their communities. Let the team at Key City Capital grow your wealth and diversify your investment portfolio. Connect with them today at keycitycapital.com or call 817-912-1569, 817-912-1569. Again, that's keycitycapital.com or call 817-912-1569, 817-912-1569.
Ukraine's presidential office says at least 3 civilians have been killed, 12 others wounded by Russian attacks over the past 24 hours.
The toll includes casualties from a strike on the market in Shevchenko, a village of some 6,500 people, and in the eastern Donetsk region, where fierce battles continue around the cities of Bakhmut and Solidar. While in Kherson, a city in the south of Ukraine that was retaken by Kyiv's forces in November, the Russian military fired at a residential district, wounding citizens during the attack. And in towns near the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, the region's governor says the attackers used heavy artillery and damaged several houses, a gas pipeline and a power line. I'm Charles Tiladesma.
German investigators searching the property of an Iranian man suspected of planning an attack with deadly chemicals. Townhall.com. A lack of pilots and low demand forcing one major air carrier to make some changes.
Fort Worth-based American Airlines is dropping Columbus, Georgia, Del Rio, Texas, and Long Beach, California from its schedules because they aren't selling enough tickets and they don't have enough pilots to fly the routes. Regional partners of American are currently serving those cities. That brings to 19 the total number of cities scratched from American's schedule since the start of the pandemic. Other airlines have made similar cuts for similar reasons. Rhonda Rockstra reporting.
The Republican governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, is demanding some answers after the feds released documents that contain her Social Security number. It's paperwork related to the proceedings of the Democrat-controlled January 6th House Committee. The Republican-led House will be getting down to business later today with California's Kevin McCarthy, the new Speaker of the House. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
That's beautiful.
Portions of the following program may contain pre-recorded material.
All right, I'll stop it. Good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. I was like, listen to music, and I'm like, do you suffer from... That's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like to me. But happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Hope all of you are having a delightful day so far.
Indeed. Those people are having a very delightful day.
Is that like a recap of New Year's?
I think it's, it's New Year's. They're just replaying New Year's.
Yeah, I guess.
It looked like New Year's at a Planet Fitness.
Yeah, it kind of did. $10 New Year.
There you go. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So as of this month, I am officially out from under my 2-year contract with the gym.
Oh.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've been?
The month I got the membership.
2 years ago.
So I signed up because they had a deal. It was pay $20 for $20 a month in honor of 2020.
Okay.
And I signed up, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, we'll go." But here's the thing: it had a 2-year clause on it. If I got out at any point in time, it was like $250.
Okay.
So I'm like, not gonna do that. But
well, how much you end up paying after all said and done?
I don't want to think about it. Okay, but the point is, I'm out. I have to officially make sure I'm out. I'm going to go and talk to them today and see, like, so we're good. We're good. Okay. I won't bother you. You don't bother me.
Did you at least go in there and get like a free smoothie or something every once in a while?
No, I mean, okay. So I had like 5 restarts.
Okay.
You know, where I'm like, okay, this is going to be it.
Sure.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go.
I'm sure, and every story's the same. And
I went, and you know, and I would work. And I joke when I say it was the month I got the membership. I went a few times. It's just I had more luck doing something I actually enjoyed doing, i.e., lap swimming, than I did, you know, forcing myself to do these things I don't want to do, like lift weights and work out.
Sit in a sauna.
Yeah.
I could do that.
That's not bad.
That's my idea of working out. Sitting in a sauna sweating. Ooh, I sweated my butt off here. What'd you do, sat here?
What I've heard, though, is people say that if you alternate between, like, sitting in a sauna and then have, like, an ice bath right next to it and then just get into the ice bath and just do that, like, alternate for, like, 12 times, it's supposed to do, like, wonders for your cardiovascular health. I think something like there's like all kinds of benefits.
Don't kill you, make you stronger.
There's all kinds of benefits to sitting in an ice bath.
Just shocking your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's stuff people do weird stuff like that. But anyway,
I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I'm just saying the option's out there for you.
Yeah, I can see like NFL quarterbacks doing that. Me, I don't want that, but that I could do. What's the Mahomes, I think it's State Farm, where he's into the bath bombs and keeps dropping bath bombs into the tub. And then the guy that's supposed to play jazz while he's in the tub comes up, shows up, ready for your bath.
I'm not sure. So I don't watch normal commercials very much, but I did see one over the weekend that really, really annoyed me.
Okay.
And it's a Subway commercial. And it's like all these quarterbacks sitting around talking about like the greatest ever, and it's basically they're talking about a sandwich.
Oh yeah,
their interactions with a sandwich.
It's them spoofing
like a 30 for 30.
Yeah, they're spoofing.
Thing.
They're spoofing. Yeah, the ESPN 30 for 30 is talking about the greatest team of all time, and the greatest team of all time is the lineup of Subway sandwiches right now. The Boss, the Hoss, the whatever all the different ones are called. So, yeah,
it's really, and I think maybe it's because of the frequency I saw it. Because
you saw it during sports.
Well,
so they were spoofing during.
It wasn't
sports.
watching. It was.
That's what I saw this weekend. Was during football games.
Mine was I was randomly watching an episode of what was it? Of 1923.
Oh,
yeah. I had dinner over at Missy's and Will's last night. And
the fourth episode came out over the weekend.
They popped that on. I think the one I watched was I want to say it was episode 3.
They did us dirty though.
Yeah, they're not going to be back till end of February, middle of February.
Yeah, they're going to do.
They put out just enough to get you hooked. They were mad last night.
Oh yeah, they did us dirty. And the week before, Longmire, keep doing that. Yellowstone did us dirty by saying new episodes will come out this summer.
Ooh.
Like they're not even going to come back in February. They're going to wait till summer before the next one's for Yellowstone.
Dang.
Yeah, they're doing you real dirty.
There's a real suspension or not. I shouldn't say suspension of disbelief. A real immersion that comes with 1923, in that you kind of forget. You're like, oh yeah, this is the 20s, because you watch these Western style shows. You tend to put them in this ubiquitous time bubble.
Sure.
Of like the era, the
1870s.
Right.
Yeah.
But to see the interactions between the nuns and the Native Americans that they had in like classroom and then having them work and stuff,
trying to make them Christians.
Woo! That was. I mean, no spoilers, but when one gets their comeuppance, it's quite it was quite the quite the beating.
I'm trying to see how that, because it's really like three stories at once going on, and they tied two together last night. The son, and that's where I've learned now. That's the son of Helen Mirren and
Harrison Ford. Right.
They have the other son that's the hunter in Africa.
Australia,
wherever it is.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was Australia.
I thought it was Africa, but whatever.
Well, just because I picked up on that because that's where he met the girl, and she's got that real thick Aussie accent.
Well, I think they're just on safari.
It could be.
He's got a box of stuff.
I know. I saw that.
But anyway, now you find out now that the ranch is in peril with these sheep herder people.
Yeah.
Now he's coming back. Now I'm trying to figure out where the Native American girl at the nunnery or whatever there, how that relates to the story.
Right. I'm not sure yet.
I don't know yet either. So.
But they're specifically telling that story to, for a reason.
And they told more of it this episode than in Pat. Like they've dabbled in that story because there's another scene where he gets beat up pretty good earlier in the first or second episode. There.
Right.
And now that they round two here, so yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'm wondering if they're related. Do you watch the regular Yellowstone?
I haven't yet. No. Like this was an accident. Like
I'm
I watched
guessing she's somehow related to some of the chieftain or whatever from Yellowstone.
Right. Probably.
I'm guessing it's something in there.
They're probably because 1923 is close enough to like the events of Yellowstone that they could be telling origin stories in this one.
Yes.
And that's basically what they're doing because this is before Yellowstone was a thing, so they're telling the origin of Yellowstone.
So I'm thinking Harrison Ford is probably Kevin Costner's great or great-great-grandfather.
I would think, probably great, probably just great.
Yeah.
Because I think it's generationally close enough.
Well, then using that logic, then I'm wondering if the guy that's coming from Australia, Africa, wherever he's come from, is his dad.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Or his grandpa.
Well,
no, because that would be two generations. So, that would be his dad, potentially.
But this is World War I.
Right.
So, I don't know if he's a little bit old to be his grandfather or not. Of course, Costner's probably, in the show, 60s?
Yeah, again, I haven't watched any of Yellowstone.
I'm guessing, so... I don't know, maybe. I don't know. It's either great or grand. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing.
I wouldn't think it's grand. I would think it's either great or great.
Yeah.
There's definitely one of those.
Yeah.
Because there's a few generations removed. But this all from only accidentally by proxy watching one episode of 1923, so I can't really form many opinions.
That's a good show.
It looped me in. I'm in. I want to get caught up
1883 is very good too. The series before it, very good too. And I'm guessing the next one next year will be like 1953.
See, they've got a lot of history to jump around in.
Yeah. So
they're building their own universe too, so it's not like they have to keep to any specific history.
Sure, it's their family. So pretty good. Let me give you the rundown.
Yes.
We're going to play our interview with Barbara Gomez from Main Street Roswell here in just a few. Before we do that, we'll get you up to date with the weather and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show.
Yes, indeed.
Let's go ahead and I keep wanting to burp, so I'm just going to play the weather.
All right, then.
Well, you enjoy the weather. I'm going to...
It's amazing the sounds that come out of us as soon as we hit those mics off.
I'm going to expel gas out of my mouth. We'll be back.
Keep the camera on.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure covering our area, and things look fair for the next few days. A little bit of a warming trend coming up, and no rain heading our way for a while. For today, we're expecting a high close to 70, and we should get plenty of sunshine and light wind. Overnight will be clear, low 30s, and then we'll get a little bit more breezy on Tuesday. Sunshine, though, and warming into the low 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 69%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today, 69, near 70 today, with winds out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 35 degrees. West winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tuesday, mostly sunny, 74 tomorrow. Winds out of the northwest 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 39. Wednesday, sunny, highs mid-60s, but windy. Winds will be out of the southwest 10 to 20 early, shifting to the west, increasing 20 to 30, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour by Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, sunny, cooler, 57 for a high. Friday, though, we're back into the low 60s again, 63 and sunny. And then weekend looking pretty good as well, mostly sunny, 68 Saturday, partly cloudy, 65 on Sunday. So not too bad.
You were on that mic just now, like people eat dinner in prison.
Yeah, I kind of was just leaning on it. Yeah,
it was very casual.
I do that.
How long is your Gomez?
Like 35 minutes, so we need to get it going.
Need to get it going? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Why?
He's got something in a box, and I said let's hold on. He's like, you want to see what's like? Let's do it on the air, but we don't have time, so we'll do it
soon.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll tease it for now.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? I got this evil smile when I ask.
Yeah. Well, he might be overhyping. He does that. It is 8:18. Quick commercial break, then our interview with Barbara Gomez from Main Street, Roswell. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed, antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
If you need a Kubota that works and plays hard, stop looking. You'll find everything you need at Amigo Machinery. When it comes to tough Kubota tractors, mowers, construction equipment, and utility vehicles, all with low-rate financing, Amigo Machinery is your one-stop shop. We are passionately committed to providing our customers with the highest quality products, most innovative solutions, and services delivered with integrity and professionalism. Stop by Amigo Machinery in Roswell or see us online at amigo-machinery.com.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you can call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Playing dance music can help ward off mosquitoes. Now you have a reason to invite Pitbull to your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Main Street Roswell Executive Director Barbara Gomez back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Happy 2023. It still looks beautiful downtown.
It does?
Yeah. Good news. Mm-hmm. You guys will keep the tree lights up for another month or so here.
Yes, all the way up to February. Yeah. We'll leave the lights up. So a lot of people really enjoy those.
I love those.
They take a lot of pictures. Yeah. They love taking pictures with them. It becomes a really great place to do your wedding photos, or you want to make an get engaged. It's a great place to take senior pictures, kids pictures, couples pictures.
It is. It's a beautiful backdrop. Especially like a night like tonight. You're out there. The weather's going to be beautiful.
Perfect.
The lights are up.
Perfect.
Be a good night to walk around, visit some of the merchants here, do a little shopping, And then, of course, grab dinner or whatever, and then take some pictures, and or just shoot. Get the courthouse lawn if it's still pretty warm out. Get a blanket, maybe picnic from one of the vendors, and sit out and just enjoy the evening and the atmosphere out there. There's lots of stuff that people doing things and hanging out and just kind of enjoying, especially since we got the nice weather. Might as well take advantage
for
of it.
a couple of days anywhere in the coming week, as you said.
We got a big courthouse lawn there with lots of grass and lots of park-like atmosphere. The weather's nice. That's a good place to spend your evening, I think.
Right.
So.
And so a big shout out and thank you to Wendy Marley. She is our community partner through Main Street Roswell, and she's the one that works with all the sponsors, gets us the money that we need to get those lights put up. A lot of people don't realize how much it costs to do something like that.
I would imagine, yes. Thank goodness technology has made lighting efficient, but it's still quite expensive to keep that many lights lit for 2 months.
And putting them up is a job and taking them down is a job.
Sure.
Maintaining them. So a big thank you to Wendy, and also a big thank you to Jesse McDaniel. It's his team that puts it out there, you guys. And if you would like those lights to be out there longer, talk to us. We would love to be able to keep them up. I mean, just as little as it's not as little, but as much as we've done so far for this holiday season, it costs around $20,000 to keep that Main Street lit. With sponsorships. And again, a big shout out to Excel Energy, because they help us out and provide a lot, if not all of the lights that we put up on the trees down Main Street.
It wouldn't happen without that support.
That's right. They would not.
Between Excel Energy and Jesse McDaniel and his team, you would not enjoy those lights downtown. No. And quite frankly, without Jesse McDaniel's team, I would say almost 50% of the lights you see in town, and I might be lowballing that number. Yeah. Jesse's had a hand in it.
Right. Was he part of that? What they did over at the Historical Society as well?
Jesse and his group helped us out there in the tree and did that. They went and busted their humps, helping us there and getting that all pretty and stuff. So they do that for a lot of folks around town.
I drove by the Historical Society and I thought that looked so perfect.
Yeah.
You know that it had to be Jesse McDaniel.
Yeah, it was a work of Jesse.
Work of Jesse. And another big shout out, to Devin Bullock. Just this week they took down the tree. The other day.
Oh, the beautiful tree. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I love
in one of those really fun windy days. But she gets a crew together. She also raises all the money to put that tree up. So if you remember, it's like about a 17-foot brand new tree.
To me, if you take, I love we talk about the trees lining downtown. I love that. But the most solemn Christmas look to me in the Main Street quarter was that tree on the courthouse lawn. Something about the colors of the tree with the backing of the courthouse lawn. It's just, it was one of those photos that should be the cover of a Christmas card.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It should be.
And that's it. Of all the beautiful spots downtown, I think that tree by a nose takes the edge of the most beautiful spot in the Main Street corridor during the holidays.
Right. And, talking about the courthouse itself, Main Street, we sell Christmas ornaments. And as a matter of fact,
like collector's
items. I don't know if you've been to the post office recently, but I was there this morning, and they're selling these die-cut out ornaments of the White House. So we have one that's just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, of the county courthouse lawn. Whether it's antiqued or gold, they're beautiful. But just this morning, I was mailing one off to Pennsylvania, if you can believe that. Somebody emailed me and said, you know what, I would love to have one of those. Can you mail me one?
That's nice.
So we got that one sent off this morning to them.
Good deal. That's a very historical building, too. May not quite have the history the White House does, but
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and to be honest, that dome that you see that adorns it is a historical landmark, and they have conservators that come and study that. And when the county took on the big preservation project, that thing here over the last few years, that's a lot of work that goes into that. And so, yes, that is a treasure. That building.
Right? Do they do tours in there? Do you know?
I don't. I know.
I think I took a tour at one point. I don't know if it was Leadership Roswell or someone, but I don't remember.
Because they had the little museum in there with the jail and the old jail, all the documents. I know COVID kind of, but I'm thinking I bet you some of that stuff's back again. And things at the very minimum, you can walk around and look at the museum and stuff during the day. I know a lot of people go there because they got court cases, but if you're looking to do something and you don't have a case, I'd invite you to go see the inside of that, and see the rotunda, and go back and check out the little museum they've got there, and just drink in the history. It's pretty
and you
nice.
might even see pictures of people that you might know and say, "Wow, well, they were the first ones that did this or that." So also,
not the wanted posters like the judges.
Right. Those are in the post office, right? Yeah, the different section. But a big shout out to the county as well, because they are really a partner to Main Street Roswell. We were able to use we use the courthouse lawn for everything.
Sure.
We use them for farmers market, for the chili cheese festivals, the UFO festival, and just about anything. And of course, this year we had our first Christmas market on that Saturday with the movie.
Another great success.
Yeah, another great success.
Even with the weather fighting you
it
through the nail.
It started raining like about maybe an hour before the movie, and so we're like going, is anybody going to show up?
So we should have just moved all that to this week.
Yeah,
it would have been beautiful this week.
Christmas in
People being tired of Christmas at this point, but the weather be nice.
January, right? And talking about the new year, we had one of our stakeholders come up with a theme for this year, for this month.
All right.
And the theme is 23 is up to me.
Okay.
So basically, you make 23 what you want it to be.
Sure.
I mean, make it if you're a stakeholder or a business owner or something, and specifically on the Main Street corridor, think about what you'd like to see happening in your business this year. Would you like to see an upgrade in your facade in the front? Would you like to do interior work this year? Would you like to get education, maybe about the website, about Google, about advertising?
Sure.
What would you like to see happening? Would you like to host something at your business?
Absolutely. This is where entities like Main Street Roswell are something you should take fully advantage of. Especially if you're a small business in the Main Street corridor. Obviously larger businesses, they have teams and they have
a corporate or somebody that kind of feed them information.
But the average, Main Street downtown business
mom and pop
storefront is family owned, family operated, family run, and let's face it, not every person that starts a business, they may be an expert at the product, at what they're trying to sell, whether it's clothing or food or whatever. But they may not be the expert in how to market it, how to do the business side of things. Therefore, and let's face it,
and customer service, and how to sell it,
and how to do that it takes experience, it takes learning those skills and doing that, and that's why that's quite expensive to do all that on your own. Oh, and by the way, do the rest of your business and sell the things and all that. That's why if you're a small business, especially a new business within a year or so, tap into every resource possible for Main Street Roswell, and do the same with the chamber and other business entities around the community that are helping. The EDC, same thing.
Right, the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. I mean,
if you're a business owner in this community, there should be three places, especially if you're in the Main Street corridor.
That's right.
Main Street Roswell for sure, the chamber and the EDC. These are three things that every business owner in this community should be well versed with,
right? And talking about 2023, and it's up to me, it's up to us as well as far as Main Street Roswell goes. I was just telling you, Mike, that we're starting a brand new year with a brand new board. Not everyone is brand new, but we do have a lot of
new faces.
A lot of new faces with a lot of new excitement. New direction.
Well, and that's the thing. We love people that serve for 100 years and devote because they're the
historical people. They're know
the reason
happened.
Why Main Street Roswell is still Main Street Roswell.
That's right.
But it's always nice when people come in with a new perspective or a new idea. Because let's face it, I don't care what anybody's doing. When you're doing the same thing over and over again for years, you get into patterns. You get into ruts. Probably a darker word, but kind of a rut sometimes. It's very possible. And sometimes a new
just a little bit of energy, a little bit different, and like you said, a new perspective.
Next thing you know, it kind of rehashes and rekindles and kind of it's a good thing.
Yeah, so it's made us all readjust. Of course, I've only been here, 4 months now? So for me, it's all a learning experience.
Sure.
But for people that have been there longer, we've all kind of had to do kind of a readjust in our mind and say, okay, so what is our purpose? What is our vision? What should we be doing for the stakeholders on Main Street? I mean, every main street in every community should be vibrant.
Absolutely.
This should be a place for collecting of people, of events, of making money for the stakeholders on Main Street. So people walk in and go, wow, I've never seen this before. Of course, we've got a lot of UFO type things out there, but that's not all we have.
Absolutely.
We've got cookies, we've got food, we've got...
That's it. We use the aliens as the foot in the door.
Yeah, that's how we get them in.
Yeah, and then you come see all the other... You're like, oh, I didn't realize Roswell was this, rich with other things other than little green men and gray men. Depending on your...
Right. But there's a lot of times that people come to Roswell specifically on certain times of the year. And of course, the big times, of course, is July, because that's our big month.
UFO festival.
That's a UFO festival.
Busiest time of the year.
But then you have other times throughout the year. Thanksgiving, family members come in. People...
I saw a lot of tourists during the Christmas holiday, yeah.
And the Thanksgiving, Christmas... And the other big one is spring break.
Yeah, a lot of people
and
come.
And so we're
vacations.
revving up to figure out what we're going to do on Main Street to capture some of those people that are coming in for spring break.
Sure, and give them a reason to hang out in the Main Street corridor and visit all these great businesses we have there, too. And here's the thing, too. I would invite every single Main Street business owner to reach out to Barbara and the board and say, hey, because at the end of the day, they're looking for direction. They're like you said, making the 23 what's right for you.
Yeah,
and
23 is up to me.
Yeah, I don't have the catchy slogan there, but that concept is where it starts with that board and everything. So it's like we got some new faces of board, but the board, they have ideas and what things they want to do. But at the end of the day, they serve you, the Main Street businesses.
We do serve you.
So if you guys are wanting to see something from Main Street, first thing to do is talk to Barbara, talk to the board, get in on their next board meeting agenda and say, hey, this is something that me and multiple business owners would love to see come from Main Street. And they look at it and say, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Right. Or we'd love to do that, but here's the hurdles we have to do that.
Yeah, because everything that happens, a number of times we've had people say, well, let's do something like next month, Barbara. It's something big, something exciting. Well, as you know, Mike,
it takes more than a month to plan something like that.
It takes more than a month to plan something like that. If you want to close down streets, you have to ask 120 days before any event.
A lot of red tape, yeah.
A lot of red tape to go through. And I know some of our...
As experience with your 5Ks and thing like that.
Yes, it's been a real experience.
Run into a few of those obstacles.
Yeah, I have run into a few of them. So, I've had a few board members saying, hey, Barbara, let's do this. And I'm thinking we should do this quick. When do you want to have it? Maybe in a month. I don't have time.
Sure.
We have to plan. The city, we like to believe we're the only thing going on in town, but it's not. The city gets really busy.
And we do compete with each other in some way, shape, or forms. Let's face it. First Friday, it's a great Friday thing, but in the fall, you got Roswell or Goddard playing a game every Friday night in the World Bowl.
Right.
That's going to instantly take away a couple thousand people because it's a limited window and things like that. Some will work around it, maybe come a little early and have dinner, but for most people, they're focused on that. So there's those little competitions. So when you plan something, you gotta think, okay,
check out calendars, check out what else is going on.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of people try and do the same thing you are, and it's all yelling at the same batch of people to try to get them to do something.
Right. So, we had that challenge during Christmas. We had the parade on Friday. The first Friday in December.
Which was an awesome parade, by
the way. That was a pretty incredible parade.
Yeah.
I think we had 23 to 25 lighted floats.
Yeah.
We had so much excitement, and a big thank you to Rob Tynes, because he's really,
and our community
helped us out.
For getting creative and getting fun and having fun with it. Yeah.
And you know what? This kind of stuff draws attention. You guys don't realize how much attention Roswell draws, not only to us here. We're so used to seeing it that we don't realize that people somewhere else. So just this week, and I've spoken to this lady probably now 3 times. She lives in California, and she used to design costumes for Disney.
Oh, wow.
And also floats. And so she's talking to me saying, Barbara, let's create this gigantic, wonderful float. And I'm going, whoa. So, a lot of people call us and want to be a part of us and want to know what we're doing. So don't get complacent and think, I'm so tired of this. We don't really do anything.
Yeah, it's easy to forget, but we're probably arguably the most famous small town in the
Yes,
planet.
I would agree with you. I would agree
definitely
with
in
you.
that conversation. You could go to Germany, some small town in Germany, and ask them if they heard of Roswell, New Mexico, and you're probably gonna find someone that says, "Oh yeah, that's the alien thing." You'd be hanging out in Australia at some pub, and you mentioned Roswell, New Mexico. Someone's probably gonna know what you're talking about.
Just in May, I think it was, Xanthi and I had gone to a Main Street America training in Richmond, Virginia. So we wore our Roswell UFO polos and T-shirts out there. I kid you not. We got more people stopping us going, "Wait, are you guys from Roswell, New Mexico?" The Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, it's like,
and we took a bunch of little Roswell pins with them, Alien Fest pins and UFO pins, and we handed those out everywhere we went.
Yeah.
So
the part she didn't tell you is they all acted robotic, and people were trying to figure out if they were human or alien.
Right.
And they just played along.
They
I'm
just
just kidding.
I said, "Xanthias, I'm not. I'm the real one. She's the robot one."
You're from Roswell? Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. I can't do that really well. Not like Todd. Isn't it Todd that does that?
Yeah, Todd's
got a really good one to do that. But here's the deal, guys. If you're a stakeholder or you're a business that's not even on the main drag of Roswell, keep track of what's happening. Because if you can see something that's coming down the road, let's say, for instance, the UFO Museum told me that they get sometimes 6,000 people during spring break.
Wow.
So why would you not want to take advantage of it and say, what can I capture when they're coming in?
And
what
every
can
one
I
of them,
capture when something else is going on?
As a Main Street business here on the radio station, when I'm around lunchtime or walking around up the streets during these times, I see hundreds of people walking up and down the sidewalks with their little UFO museum stickers, and they're just walking looking for the next thing to do, whether it's to hit one of the stores or find something to eat or look for some more entertainment.
Or the, farmhouse or something up and down the street.
I see so many people looking for stuff around the Main Street district. So you would be a fool not to try to take advantage of that.
And that's kind of one of the things that I want to work on as we progress through this year. We, like I said, we have a new board. So coming up at the end of January, we'll be having our annual board meeting, our annual, retreat, I guess you can call it. So we can rethink about how we want to do these things.
And the plan of attack for 2023.
Plan of attack. But trust me, Main Street stakeholders, it's all about you. It really, truly is. Even though it says 23 is about me, for us, 23 is about you and how we're going to help your business. How we can help you maybe to fix up some of the inside of your building. Because the way I look at it, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So basically, if we get the hordes of people in here or even a group of people in here, you need to be welcoming. You need to figure out what's the best way to do this customer service, or how can I set up a 20% off or something.
Well, and let's face it, too. When you have a downtown district that has, let's face it, buildings that have been here, some of them a century or more. You know what I mean? It's just these. You're going to have to upgrade. You're going to have to refurbish or replace. That's just the life doing business. So every one of our Main Street, especially some of these front stores here, there's very old buildings that these people are calling home for their businesses.
Right.
And it's very cool treasure-wise, but when it comes to things like safety and upgrading to standards and modernizing the buildings to handle
or historical requirements. You don't want to knock down something that's of historical value. You have to find out.
If you got a 100-year-old building and you're trying to run a business out of it, but you want modern technology to work in it, it takes a little finagling to do all that. They weren't pre-wired up for internet back in 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
Or electricity in some cases for that matter,
So you're going to see, you may be seeing a lot of me, a lot more than you have up to now.
So now's the time to kind of improve some of that stuff.
When I'm coming by to see you, it's not just a, hello, what's going on? A lot of these buildings are leased out. So the owners do not live in Roswell. So if you want something done, it takes that background work to find out who owns this. Let me talk to the owners, see if they have interest.
They collect a check and that's all they care about. They don't see the needs on it, so you got to make them aware of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're able to do that. We have access to grants where we can, and actually I'm going to a training really soon on fundraising and grant writing. So I'm really excited about that. And we may have a few new board members that are coming in with that experience already to help out.
That's very valuable experience to have.
There's lots of money that we could possibly get for our community, but we have to know your needs. So let's say, Mike, sometimes I'll get an email. It's the first time I've seen it, and they'll say, guess what? We opened up a grant, and this grant is really specific. It has to be this kind of building, and you need to use it for here, and it needs to be in this district. So for me to be able to plug you in to that grant, I need to know your needs.
Gotcha.
So get with me. Let me know what's going on, so the next time something pops up, we can say, we know exactly who to put in that place.
Yeah.
We know exactly what to use for that money.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
that's kind of one of the cool things that we're going to work on. And as you may or may not know, there is 4 points to what we're supposed to be doing in the Main Street District.
Your kind of pillars.
The pillars are we call them the 4 points.
Sure.
That's what we call them. But the number
Think of
one
character counts.
Yeah,
they got their six,
just kind of like
same kind of ideology.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. But economic vitality is our number one thing. So if you aren't, you know what I'm saying, we need to figure out how to make it a vital place for you, if you're making money. One of the other things we do is promotion, and promotion includes a lot of things: promoting you, promoting your business, promoting our Main Street District through Facebook, through website, through radio, through the newspaper, through whatever means we
all
can.
All on the table there. Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing is design. So we do work on design. So we have specialists that can come down that are specialists like architects, people with historical backgrounds. So when they come down, they can say, you know what? You can do that, but let me tell you how it needs to be done so that we don't ruin the value of this building.
So you end up wasting money on something you thought was going to work. Unfortunately, you find out halfway through the project.
It's not going to work because you can't tear that down or do this or that with it. As a matter of fact, I have one of the specialists from Albuquerque coming next week to look at the Backdraft Barbecue again to figure out what we're going to do on that building. They did receive a grant, and so we need to figure out where's the the sign's going to go for that.
Sure.
The LED signs, the brightness.
It's a cool facility, and let's face it, it's because it's a street off the main street. People sometimes forget it's there. And so how do you remind people? And that's kind of what they're figuring out right now.
And so those are things that we can do. The last thing that we work on is organization, and that encompasses a lot of things: organizing trainings, organizing. Just even how to put together an event, education for your staff, IT type stuff. I mean, a lot of help that can be had through Main Street, and we are working really diligently with our city partners. I mean, because we cannot do a lot of things without the city.
Sure.
The city cannot do a lot of things without us.
Well, they both need each other to have success.
That's true.
And that's because they're so intermingled, because when you think of Roswell, the city of Roswell, what's first images you think of everything in our Main Street corridor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And so, I mean, we have so many assets that are outside of that corridor, but when you think of Roswell and when you put the postcard out to the world saying this is Roswell, it's Main Street you're seeing.
Right,
and that's and so for the city and everybody to succeed, we need a thriving Main Street. And for the Main Street to succeed, we need that city support to do that.
Right, and we need to move as a united front, because we are all working towards the same end to make Roswell better, to bring tourism to Roswell, to bring more money to our economy overall. And so I just want to a couple of things that are coming up. So one of the things that's coming up, and it's not even an event for Main Street Roswell, but it's the UFO XPO that's coming up March 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay.
This is somebody coming in from outside putting together an event, but I've spoken to the guy that's organizing that, and he really, really would like to help to revitalize the Main Street as much as he can.
Okay.
So you'll be hearing from me stakeholders really, really quick. I'm meeting with him. I don't have a lot to give you today.
So, but is the idea of the expo more of the research and historical side of UFO
Actually, no.
stuff,
The
or is
expo.
it...
The expo. If you pull it up on the website, and you can, as you're sitting here, if you want to, but it's called UFO XPO. They're going to have a number of speakers here. They're going to have some film type stuff here as well.
But it's the education stuff, not full hats and.
No, and it would be. I imagine that they are going to have a lot of different things.
But a lot of it's the deep dive into
that,
showing evidence of what they're talking
right.
about.
Right, and like I said, the man I'm working with right now on this, which we started it last week, possibly about it, but it's coming up really, really fast. And so the plan is to hopefully have things going all the way from the convention center all the way to the museum and even past that.
Cool.
But to have a lot of things going on, meets and greets, possibly an event happening right on the courthouse lawn again.
Awesome.
And so we're really excited about that. But other things that we have going on coming up, somewhere around April or May, we're going to start the planting flowers.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys know anything about flowers and you're saying, why don't you guys put these flowers? I don't like the ones you did last time. Or maybe those are
and
not.
they're always looking for volunteers on those planting weekends to go and actually do the physical planting and all that, too.
Right. I mean, that's part of the beautification of Main Street, but it's also the promotion. You like people to come downtown and go, this is a really nice town.
Back in their own community.
That's right.
It's the same kind of thing when you see like the utility boxes being painted by some of our
local
artists and youth groups and things like that. This is the same thing with the gardening. It's kind of that same, but instead of paint, they're using flowers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then, of course, coming up in spring is also our spring fundraiser, which will be our Christmas, our candy party. So you'll be hearing a lot more about that as it goes on. So there's all kinds of fun stuff, and we're already the UFO Festival. We're already past the UFO Festival, looking at October. I can't tell you a little bit about that yet because
but more to come.
But there's a lot more to come. So just know that we are here to work for you. We're here to help you. And another thing I want to talk about a little bit is our bottle cap to benches program.
Okay, is that I know that kind of winded down. Is it starting to pick back up again?
Well, let me tell you the interesting thing about the bottle cap benches. We were working with a company that was called the Green Tree Plastics, ABC, something like that. And what happened was they decided they were going to go out of business, and they let everybody know that they were going out of business. We let everybody know, quick, we need our bottle caps because they're going out of business.
Sure, get them in before they're gone.
Right. And lo and behold, as soon as we announced all that, somebody else bought them out.
Good.
Doing the exact same thing.
Somebody said there's a potential here. Let me tweak it to run it. Well, good.
Right.
So they've been saved.
So it's been saved.
Good.
So the bottle caps to benches program is still out. I mean, I've even had some of my stakeholders going, wait a second, I'm confused. I thought they were gone. So they're not.
They're back. So if you've been collecting, keep collecting.
If you
have your collection and you didn't quite get rid of it, then bring it on down because we're collecting.
Right.
Again.
Or call me or go by the Chamber of Commerce. They do have a container sitting outside the door.
You can
drop them off there. You can drop them off at Southwest Print. You can call me at my office here, on 3rd Street.
Yeah. Now, if you're just a quick background, if you're not familiar with this project.
Oh, yeah.
The first time it went around is basically people collecting your caps from like your drink bottles, even like the mayonnaise.
There's
a whole list of
caps
and things, and we'll tell you. But they take all of those caps, and if they collect, was it like 250 pounds or something? For every 250 pounds of those they collect, that's a bench.
Yep.
And so you turn in 250 pounds of plastics, you get a
recycled bench.
You get one of these benches. And here's the cool part about the benches. These are the benches like your park benches you see, except for they're more resistant to graffiti. They're more durable. They are pretty. They look. And so when someone graffitis, they can sand it real quick, and you would have never known it happened.
And fix it right up.
Yeah. So it does the job of a bench greener and better. And so it's a win-win. So that are kind of like, well, green, this is actually an improvement upon the bench with this. This is yes, it's a win because it's a recycled green thing. That's awesome. But it actually, in the evolution of park benches, this is a more evolved bench.
Sure. And you know what? You're talking about graffiti.
Yeah.
Just last week, that's the day after Christmas. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It was the day after Christmas on that Monday. We were doing a dedication of the bench. And if you have not heard about dedications of the benches, I have a whole list of benches that are here in front of a lot of different businesses. So let's say one in front of Toro Bravo, one beside the Tire and Appliance, one beside the Alien Invasion, place, one right in front of Benchmark or Diamond Cuts or Dr. McMahon's office or wherever. There's benches everywhere. Did you know that you can dedicate a bench to somebody that you would like to memorialize?
Sure. If you got someone you would like to honor, and that'd be a great, maybe you got a family member or a long time customer to business for even,
we have
whatever.
one for Dusty Huckabee. It's right on the courthouse lawn. We've dedicated one, of course, to Juliana Halverson. Why not? She has done so much for Main Street Roswell, and she's
Although
wonderful.
she's still with us, so
She's
thank
still,
goodness.
I know,
A lot of people think.
These aren't all people that have passed away. These are people that we just want to honor.
I always think of, when I think of things like this, I think of postmortemly.
Glad you're
so don't be confused.
Don't be confused.
We see Juliana's on there. She's still with us and doing well.
Thank God for that. Thank God for Juliana. But if you would like to do that, start collecting bottle caps. Give me a call and let me know what you would like to do. We do put a little plaque on it. We can do a little ceremony for you if you'd like. The newspaper comes out, takes a few pictures.
Cool.
So we try to make it as nice as we possibly can. But talking about that graffiti, a big shout out to the city of Roswell and the 5 people that are dedicated to do nothing else except keep our main street clean.
Yep.
Did you know that?
They started this up several months ago.
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah.
They did start it up. This was kind of an interesting, funny story. So I did a bench dedication, like I said, just one right before Christmas and one right after Christmas. So here comes the family. We're getting out there to go put a little plaque on it, getting it all ready, and kind of put a cover on it to do the big reveal. I get there and there's a man sitting there, so I ask him if he wouldn't mind moving so that we can put the little sign on. Do the ceremony, and he gets up, big old graffiti on it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the family's coming. I mean, they had a lot of family and friends and people out there. So we worked it out where we were able to put family members sitting in front of the graffiti, so they took pictures. But you know what? I put it on that Fix-It form right away. I always call my community liaison, Kevin Mavers. Poor guy. He gets more phone calls from me than anybody else. But I'm like, Kevin, he's like, I can't get anybody out there right now, Barbara. So we'll get it fixed for you. And, just like that, because I actually graffitied 2 of them. 2 of my benches that were going to be dedicated were graffitied, but they took care of it. Like you said, I don't know if they have cleanser, scrape it down or whatever.
I think with those they can sand it real quick or something. I don't know the technology, but it's amazing. So
it is amazing. So a big thank you to them. And one quick thing I want to talk about is I would like to talk about the loss of Daryl Davenport with White Mattress. That's one of our long-standing staple of Roswell. Maybe he hasn't been on Main Street all the time because he was over on next to First Cafeteria.
Yeah, he was down.
Upon a time.
What was that shopping center called?
What was that called?
I'm going to remember later.
Yeah, after we're gone.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Where Sears used to be.
His office, White Mattress was there.
Broadmoor Shopping Center. Yeah.
And I believe he had a location on 2nd Street going to East 2nd, but then he finally moved in the old Ginsburg building.
Yeah, in downtown here.
But he will be missed.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I haven't heard, but is family taking over the business? Or
I don't know yet. We're kind of trying to figure that thing out ourselves.
I know they're busy grieving and taking care of that, but I hope the family keeps that business.
Yes, our condolences to the family.
Because it's like one of the few places in town if you want to get a mattress for your RV. That's the place to get it.
And I don't know if you saw it or not, but we posted it on our Facebook, and you could not believe the number of people that had wonderful things to say about Daryl, his family, and their product.
Well, so people that were families that are part of the community a long time, they leave an impression on everybody.
That's right.
And that's
we
exactly
are family.
what that
we
family
are family
did.
in Roswell.
Yep,
so
absolutely. We're almost out of time here, but if you have any questions about anything we talked about here or want to learn more, you can go to mainstreetroswell.org is the website, and you can go there. And if you want to be a part of future events and things, there's forms to fill out to do all that. But if you have questions and want to contact Barbara or any of the board or anything, you'll find those links there.
And my number is on our website, but my number is 575-914-8017.
Very good.
Please feel free to call me.
Not at 2 in the morning, but
maybe not. I won't answer
during normal hours. But and of course, like and follow Main Street Roswell on Facebook. And what other social media?
Well,
you guys?
Of course, we do have we do Instagram, and we do. I think that's just the Instagram.
And Facebook are the 2 big ones that you guys.
Yeah, the 2 big ones that we do. But
that way you can stay up to date and see cool pictures.
Sure, but if you're a stakeholder on the Main Street District and you are not on the stakeholders page, That's how we try to communicate with you the most.
Okay.
So if you want to know what's going on, if you want to reach out to us, you can get on that. But
is that like a private group on
it
there?
It is a private group.
Good
so
deal.
you have
but
to
you apply and they'll let you in.
Yeah, we'll let you in.
As soon as you realize you're a downtown merchant.
Yeah, you're a downtown merchant. Come on in.
Yeah.
So we do funny, interesting things. We get requests from Timbuktu from really weird names out there, and it's like, no, you're really not in our district. You live in China, so that won't work.
We're known by everybody, and there's that's good, but there is a few downsides to that.
So we tell them to look at our Main Street regular page. How's that?
And then there's probably the occasional Georgian, Roswell, Georgia, that pops up, and you're like,
that's true.
Like, I would love to have you if you move your business to Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, and by the way, if you want to move to a business, we have a lot of open locations.
If you're looking for real estate in the Main Street corridor, come see Barbara.
We've got some great areas.
Point out some locations for you, depending on what you need, whether if it's like a doctor's office or a storefront, they got you both covered. So, good deal. Well, thank you, Barbara.
Well,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys.
And we'll, if not sooner, we'll see you next month.
Yep, and I'll have more good information to give you. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds
All right,
good.
Thank you, guys.
Barbara.
Have a great day.
Stay cool.
Oh, yeah.
I usually have to say one time here, but this time, no, stay cool. Yeah. All right, 8:37. We're going to take a quick break.
Don't even know they have it. Left untreated, diabetes can lead to other health complications including heart disease, stroke, and liver disease. Don't put off your care any longer. Artesia General Hospital's Diabetes Care Team can help you make a personalized plan to manage diabetes or pre-diabetes and reclaim your health. Learn more or request an appointment at artesiageneral.com/diabetes.
Happy holidays and a happy new year from the Plateau family to yours. Give your whole home the gift of ultimate connectivity in 2023. For a limited time, receive a free Visa gift card when you sign up for a True Fiber internet plan from Plateau. Up to $250 for new True Gig customers. With Plateau's True Fiber internet, get unbelievable speed for streaming, gaming, working from home, and so much more. And for a limited time, new customers get a free Visa gift card. Learn more and sign up now at plateautel.com. Offers valid only for new customers within Roswell Fiber connected zones until January 16th, 2023.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. America's employers added a solid 223,000 jobs in December, evidence that the economy remains healthy even as the Federal Reserve is rapidly raising interest rates to try to slow economic growth and the pace of hiring. The unemployment rate fell from 3.6% to 3.5%. Southwest Airlines says it expects a fourth quarter loss following last month's system breakdown that led to thousands of flight cancellations during the peak holiday travel season. Southwest will incur one-time costs between $725 million and $825 million because of the debacle, resulting in a net loss for the final quarter of 2022. Europe ended a bad year with inflation woes, but some relief and price gains eased again. While the cost of living is still painfully high, the slowdown is a sign that the worst might be over for a weary consumer. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. In what was a brief stopover on his way to a summit in Mexico City, President Biden paid a visit to the southern border over the weekend.
Some Democrats, along with immigration advocates, are unhappy with the president's approach, and Republicans blame Mr. Biden for record numbers of migrants coming into the country. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy called the president's 4-hour visit to El Paso a photo op. And Texas GOP Governor Abbott handed the president a letter upon his arrival that said border chaos was a direct result of the president's failure to enforce federal laws.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. Having ironed out their differences and electing California's Kevin McCarthy as Speaker, House lawmakers get back to work today with Republicans now in the majority in the House. A dispute over pay and staffing prompting 7,000 nurses to strike 2 of New York City's larger hospitals.
The walkout involves as many as 3,500 nurses at Montefiore in the Bronx and around 3,600 at Mount Sinai in Manhattan. The New York State Nurses Association says after bargaining late into the night, it was being forced to strike because of chronic understaffing that leaves them caring for too many patients. President Nancy Reagan spoke at a virtual news conference yesterday.
sticking point is safe patient care, safe nurse-to-patient ratio, safe staffing.
The hospitals have been getting ready for a walkout by transferring patients, diverting ambulances, postponing non-emergency procedures, and arranging to bring in temporary staffing. Julie Walker, New York.
Wall Street is following up on last week's rally with more gains today. So far, the benchmarks have been in positive territory this morning. Right now, the Dow up 244 points, the Nasdaq ahead 198, and the S&P is up 46 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We're entering a time of increasing hostility against people of faith. A time when Christians are going to be tested on a moral and physical and financial basis, unlike any other time in our lifetime. I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author, evangelical leader, here to remind you that you have to take action to protect and steward what God has given you. For example, record high inflation is going to continue to eat away at the dollar, and the savings of your retirement account is in danger. Fortunately, God does provide a way. To protect your retirement, I recommend diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper and into physical gold. And the best way to do that is with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Now, to see how it works, just text the word FAITH to 989898. That'll give you access to a free info kit on gold IRAs. There are no strings attached, so text FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898 right now, and I pray your family is blessed with peace of mind because you took action.
Officials at a school in Ukraine say the Russians aren't telling the truth about a supposedly deadly attack.
Officials at the vocational school in Kramatorsk have dismissed claims hundreds of Ukrainian troops were killed in a missile strike there, saying a rocket merely blew out windows and damaged classrooms. Russia has specifically named the vocational school as the target, saying missiles did hit 2 temporary bases housing over 1,000 Ukrainian troops in the city, killing 600 of them last Saturday. The school's deputy director has scoffed at the claim of hitting a troop concentration. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A UN conference has drummed up funds and other support to help Pakistan cope with the fallout of last summer's devastating flooding, which the UN chief calls a climate disaster of monumental scale and killed more than 1,700 people. News and analysis, townhall.com. The Buffalo Bills win their first game since teammate DeMar Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest and collapsed on the field.
On a day filled with emotion, the Buffalo Bills won the regular season finale against the New England Patriots 35-23. Naeem Hines of Buffalo returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown and also get another kickoff return for a score. Bills quarterback Josh Allen says after seeing that opening play, he knew it would be their day.
I can't remember a play that touched me like that, I don't think, in my life.
Buffalo finishes the season at 13-3, and now they are the second seed and will host the Miami Dolphins in the wild card round. The loss ends the season for the Patriots. They finish with an 8-9 record. Gene Battaglia, Orchard Park, New York.
Political turmoil in Brazil boiling over in a display of rage by supporters of former President Bolsonaro. There have been hundreds of arrests. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Hold on. I got a squirrely mouse with the squirrely things. Now I fix it. Good morning. Welcome to hour number 3.
Crazy journals.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes, sir. I thought we were going to get delightful music again.
We would, but I remembered, and I changed it before the delightful music came over the airwaves here.
Ah, shucks.
So our sales manager, T-Beard, he is the man with the most interesting Amazon wish list on the history of the planet.
Agreed.
He found a nice new toy.
They have these scooters.
Okay.
Go 45 miles an hour.
Really?
Is this one of those ones that folds out?
Yes.
Do they look like the ones you can rent to go downtown? Or?
It looks terrifying. The
It looks
wheels
very
are like
terrifying.
this big. They're like this big.
Right. It looks very dangerous.
It goes
folds
40?
out from like a suitcase. I
Right.
saw this thing literally yesterday. It folds out from like a suitcase you can carry.
You get some with flames on them and everything.
These two little wheels pop out, and the seat pops up, and it's literally a scooter. But
Looks very dangerous.
yeah,
Interesting.
It goes like 45 miles an hour.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure no one's going to get killed.
But that's
on
the
those.
thing is the wheel's so small. I feel like if you turn it even slightly, you're
Yeah, do you hit a pebble? And
Yeah,
you're,
don't hit a pebble.
Right.
Pebbles would be bad.
I mean, if you're going to go 40, I want something with some knobby wheels.
mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Some traction.
Right.
Something that looks like
Something
you
that
can
won't
go
put
through
me in
stuff.
traction.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but if your wheels are the same ones on my roller skates, and you want me to go 40 miles an hour in them, I'm out.
Don't get me wrong. I love Amazon for what it is and what its potential is. That I was able to buy my son a giant Jenga set for Christmas. That's awesome. There's a lot of weird stuff on Amazon though. So,
well, yeah.
When our sales manager walks in with an evil smile and a box of mystery, I'm concerned.
And and the one, and we got a box, but real quick before you open it, speaking of weird stuff on Amazon, am I the only one that keeps seeing an article that says find unique things on Amazon, and it's always a picture of this like plastic hamburger patty former thing that shapes hamburgers in like this pentagon shape, but it looks like some kind of diamond honeycomb
I haven't
thing.
seen that one yet.
But every time I see it, a thing for shop Amazon for unique things, that's the picture they show me, this weird hamburger patty former thing.
I think Facebook has this like deal with Amazon. I don't know this for sure, but I feel like they do, where they show a picture that you kind of know what it is, but you don't actually know what it is until you click it, and even like it'll say like hot or internet trends like on the description. It won't say anything about what it is, and it's just like a roll of like what looks like charcoal briquettes.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know what this is.
And
You
by
have
the
to
way,
click
I've seen more ads for that Volo thing that we were talking about last week with the can opening. That thing's all over my Twitter now.
Oh, I bet.
Now it's everything. It's for I kind of want to try it because I'm not sure if it's. You would be a good one to try this. It's a can opener like
a
for your
soda can.
But basically, you take it and you run it around the top of a soda can, and it takes the top off, and you use the soda can like a cup.
Does that cut your face?
I would think it looks like it puts a rim around the cup, or like it leaves the rim there.
Huh. Is it limited to just soda cans?
Well, beer cans.
Like if you want to get to soup really quick.
Well, I think they designed it for like beverages. So, like if you get your beer cans or your energy drink cans or your soda cans, you can, in essence, cut the top off and turn it into a vessel. Like I've seen people that take the koozie and they put their beverage in it and they cut the top off. And I don't know if it's a gimmick or an amazing product because I feel like
sounds dangerous.
If you take the top off, the whole can's going to be weaker.
Right.
So when you try to hold it, it's just going to
integrity
crumble.
of the can.
Yeah.
And all the
I'd be curious to try
all the
it.
fizzy stuff would come out.
Of course, the commercial makes it look like an amazing party thing, and everyone's like cool, and so I kind of want to try it.
All cut.
It's only like $15, so maybe I should get one and try it.
I just mentioned to a friend that I was kind of interested in seeing a certain movie.
Yeah.
And now, literally, like, they're not even being shy about it. It's like, here's an ad for that movie. Scroll a little bit on Facebook. Oh, here's another ad for that movie. Here's another one. I'm not going to say the name of the movie, lest I be cursed with even more in-app ads for it.
Yeah.
But it's a horror movie with the number in the title. That's all I'm going to say.
Ah.
Yeah.
An older
a brand new one. Brand new. Starts with an M. 3.
Oh, yeah. That. Like,
I'm not going to say it because it'll spread.
That thing's horrifying.
It's terrifying, and I hate seeing it in my Facebook feed, but it's just constant.
Yeah.
It's like Chucky.
It's a little girl named Megan.
No, you did it. You did the thing. You said the thing.
But I didn't say movie with Megan. I just said Megan.
No, now you've said it 3 times. So
your phone's not in here, is it?
No, it's.
So let me
down
preface
here.
the box.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So Thomas, we got sidetracked.
Yep.
Bought a box from Amazon and brought it in, and he's teasing us with what's in the box.
Right.
A la another movie with a number in it.
Yes,
7.
That's true, and it's really more of a Christmas.
Okay.
It it could be. It doesn't have to be. It's not limited.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be here 2 weeks ago.
And it just rolled in.
I'm gonna try to keep the
Look at
mystery.
them one at a time.
All right.
Ooh, there's more than one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just gonna reach in.
So he's not
grab
looking.
something
He's
out.
just grabbing.
All right.
Pulling out.
Oh. No.
Sour cream and onion candy canes.
We talked about these a while back. So Archie McPhee makes candy canes in weird flavors. They had a whole. Remember we talked about it's a whole website full of weird flavors. You did tell me you didn't find the mother lode. So these ones are sour cream and onion.
Okay, we're gonna eat these tomorrow.
All right, hold on. Caesar salad.
Ooh.
I'm genuinely curious. This is awesome. I'm boyishly happy.
I feel like these won't last.
Bacon candy canes.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Wow, there's a lot of these. Mac and cheese candy canes.
Rough.
Oh my God, that's gonna be disgusting. Look at this one. Even just looks like it's melting. It doesn't even want to be in the package anymore.
Look at the little guy.
It's
on there.
cute. Look at the little guy right there. He's got a little noodle, little character.
Is it a scratch and sniff?
I think it's based on the noodle. I think it's a female.
Oh, and they're all, but just for the record, all individually wrapped. So what we don't eat, we can save till next year.
with a
We
friend.
could create a whole. We could put a Christmas tree up.
We
with all the
could.
candy.
And
A savory tree.
finally,
Sardines.
sardine candy canes.
So we've got
Look at the little sardine with the
sour
top
cream
hat.
and onion, Caesar salad, bacon, mac and cheese, and sardines. Did I miss
do
one?
this.
So 5 total?
It's 5 total, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll try to stack them up here, so they can be on display for all the viewers. Of these, I gotta say, the one I'm most terrified of is sardine. The one I'm most curious about is Caesar salad, because that actually doesn't sound terrible. If I'm being honest, it does not sound.
I can't imagine
awful.
A candy that tastes like lettuce. That's weird. I can't.
I imagine it's going to be more about the dressing than it would be about the lettuce. Now, if I can taste lettuce in the candy cane, I'll be impressed.
Well, it is green.
Yeah, but food color goes a long way. I mean,
I know, but the green.
That's awesome. That's a good.
Well, Roy
gift.
needs to come in and be part of this too.
I would agree.
Oh yeah. So tomorrow
we'll
do that. We got time tomorrow. We'll
Might
go
grab
and
some
sample
Listerine after
the post Christmas candy cane.
So
indulge.
which one do you think is going to be the best tasting?
The best.
I think in candy cane form, the one I think is going to be the least revolting is the bacon.
Yeah, that's going to be the most. I think probably the most common.
Yeah.
I'm pretty curious about mac and cheese.
That could be actually go
that
either
could
way.
go both ways. But
to
probably,
be honest, the ones that taste like salad and sardines scare me the most.
Well, and here's the thing: there's sardines in Caesar salad, like in the dressing. Sour cream and onion, I'm probably the most curious about.
I love sour cream and onion.
As do
but
I.
in a candy form,
I'm not sure.
I don't know about that one.
Because you gotta add the sugar to it, because it's gotta have some.
I want to know if I took a piece, just a little nubbins, and put it on a regular potato chip and ate it. How would it taste?
Well, I can tell you in the mac and cheese variety,
I could dip that one in ketchup.
the ingredients are sugar, corn syrup, water, artificial flavor. I'm guessing that's where the mac and cheese comes in. FD&C yellow number 5, FD&C yellow number 6, and titanium dioxide.
Nice.
No mac, no cheese.
No. So
lots and lots of titanium dioxide.
We all have fun with those.
Oh, you're going to be here.
Well,
We'll wait for you.
tomorrow.
yeah,
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
be here
that's
tomorrow.
right.
Well,
Oh,
we'll do it tomorrow.
We'll bring you some.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll bring a candy cane.
Let me know
to try later.
how it tastes.
Yeah.
So grab you some Listerine for after the.
You don't want my mouth to smell like Caesar salad, sardines, and mac and cheese.
Okay, so what's your candy cane move? Like, how do you consume a candy cane? Are you one of those crazy people that sits there and sucks it down?
I do suck it down. I do not.
You don't crunch.
I don't try to see how skinny I can make it.
Okay, because
But if it's a flavor I enjoy, yes, I try to savor it a little longer than just chew it like a savage.
Yeah, because I'm weird. I chomp down on them. I'll chomp through a candy cane, but I know some people who will suck them down to where they're like, shivs basically.
Yeah, I don't go that far, but I will.
Ice pick.
Yeah, but I'll get it to a point where I can break it off into a piece I can suck in my mouth for a while. All right, take your box. We'll keep the sardines. That gray does not appeal.
It's the gray is really the most troubling part of it.
It looks like it looked beautiful on a tree.
I got to give them credit though, the Archie McPhee company, because every single one of these, they've anthropomorphized the character. So you got this little sardine with a top hat. You got the dancing mac and cheese, which I appreciate.
Like the movie theater.
Look at this little happy bacon guy. He's a happy pig. He has no idea that his belly's about to be...
Could be like Porky's cousin.
This one was harder to see, but check it out. The bowl's got a smile, and the little two lemons are his eyes.
Oh.
See?
It's like a salad crab.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. And, even the sour cream and the onion. Onion's crying.
Yeah.
Sour cream's... He's delighted. So, there you go. Collect the whole set.
A little yin and yang there. It's
That's
like Turner and Hooch. Or, All right, we probably need to get this interview going. It is 17 minutes after 9. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure covering our area, and things look fair for the next few days. A little bit of a warming trend coming up, and no rain heading our way for a while. For today, we're expecting a high close to 70, and we should get plenty of sunshine and light wind. Overnight will be clear, low 30s, and then we'll get a little bit more breezy on Tuesday. Sunshine, though, and warming into the low 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Yeah, the more I think about that sardines one, the more I'm kind of not digging that one there. So, yeah. Well, and I like fish. I'm revolted by any kind of fish on a pizza, and I feel like this is going to fall in that area. Just not. Certain things should not just have fish flavor, and candy's one of them.
I like sardines.
Yeah, I do too.
Genuinely like canned sardines.
I don't mind them.
I mean, what I would do with the move is, and this is actually a move that me and an ex-girlfriend would do, is
crackers.
Huh?
Crackers.
Well, we do sardines and oysters, mix that together, as much hot sauce as any of us can stand, and then Fritos.
Okay.
Best cheap meal ever.
There you go.
If you can find you a girl that'll eat like that, you better wife that woman.
Not to mention all the oysters. You got little bit of it in the mood. But anyway. Currently 41 here in Roswell, humidity at 57, winds out of the north at 5 miles per hour. We're going to get near 70, 69 officially today under sunny skies. Winds out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 35 degrees and west winds at around 5 miles per hour. Mostly sunny and 74 tomorrow. Northwest winds 5 to 10. Wednesday, sunny, 65, but going to be windy. Winds will be up out of the southwest early, 10 to 20. Later shifting to the west, 20 to 30, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour. For Thursday, cooler, sunny skies, 57 for a high. Friday, we're back up into the low 60s, sunny and 63. And then mid to upper 60s for the weekend, mostly sunny, 68 Saturday. Partly cloudy, 65 on Sunday. All right, 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. 2-minute commercial break, and then we're going to play our interview we had with Kevin Mavers last week from the city development director, talking about some things on their last meeting and some things coming to town. Talked all about that. That's up next.
The best burrito in the game just got a brand new location. Burritos and more. Now open at 2506.
Here's an Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and
Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, City Development Director here in Roswell, this city, Kevin Maver's with us this morning. Guess I better clarify just in case, you know. Good morning, Kevin. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Mike. Let me wish you a belated Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, belated Merry Christmas,
Okay,
Happy New Year.
and a Happy New Year.
Yeah. So how was your holidays? Pretty good?
Uneventful.
Good.
Uneventful.
Uneventful is a good thing.
Sometimes it is. Yeah. The wife and I spent most of the weekend, the holiday weekend, at home, just resting and relaxing. We went to mass on Sunday morning, like we should, and then a little bit of running around on Monday. We had the day off on Monday too from the city. So,
sure, so that was the city in most places.
But other than that, like I said, it was just uneventful. Hung out. Binged on Disney Plus stuff.
Good deal.
Saw every episode of Andor. You know,
you know what? I just now getting around. I watched the first episode yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And interesting. I need more episodes to get into it, but I'm intrigued. I will go there.
It is an intriguing series.
Yeah.
You know, it's another one of those, you know, bridges that they're building with the whole Star Wars universe. Now to kind of fill in the gaps in between the major movies and things. So it's always kind of neat to see the backstory.
Sure.
Right? You know,
they're building the universe. Just
yes,
like,
they are.
You know, Marvel and all these other tentpole franchises. They're now kind of filling in those, like you said, those backstories. So, but yeah, check it out here. I'm sure we could talk Star Wars.
Hey, we could talk wrestling too. I heard you talking about that.
Well, I'd have to bring Sean back in. He's the wrestling connoisseur of the
I
two
was
of
a
us.
big wrestling fan during the heyday, the real heyday, what I think is a real heyday, of the WWF before they became the
like
WWE.
In the early 80s, early to mid 80s.
Yeah. And then they became the WWE, and then they got competition from WCW. And it was
you know what? You say that, and to this day, I'm slightly bitter when I see WWF commercials and they're wanting you to donate. I'm like, why couldn't you just let the wrestling guys have WWF and y'all come up with something new? That E didn't wrap around my head right for a long time there. But
well, you know, they were two such completely, distinctly separate organizations.
Sure, no one's ever confused the Wildlife Federation
believe
with
me,
the wrestling.
I don't believe the Body Slam will ever be, confused with, caring for a panda or whatever.
I meant to give my money to the wrestlers and it went to the panda.
No, wait a minute. I thought I was buying tickets to WrestleMania. What's going on here?
No, I adopted a giraffe. That's true. So the city did have their final planning and zoning meeting of 2022 yesterday.
No, it was actually a week ago.
A week ago. That's right. It was a week. I forgot.
Yeah. So, we decided to move it up a week so that we could finish out the year. Obviously, with the in between holiday weeks, we had a lot of people planning on traveling and doing other things. So we didn't want to end up scheduling something and then not have a quorum.
It'd be poor planning to have a planning and zoning meeting when no one's in town.
When no one shows up, yes, that would be bad. Especially when you got businesses and other things that are counting on an expedient one of those review of their plans
and we all know
projects.
government work is never expeditious or expedient.
Either one.
It's glacial, but sometimes they do have to pick up the pace a little bit.
Well, we're doing our best to pick up the pace.
Sure.
We're doing our best to move things forward in the like I like to say, in the minimum amount of time allowed by law. There is certain laws and rules, regulations that we have to deal with relative to advertising periods, relative to public notice, and all those things. That eats up in any given month a good 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the scheduling. Just because you have to get the advertising out. Staff reports have to be completed and everything else. So, but we're trying to these days, if you come to us with a project that needs to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, we're trying to turn them over and get them to the nearest Planning and Zoning Commission meeting within about 6 weeks.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's a challenge sometimes to get that, just depend on where the days fall in the calendar and the month, and how well the builder or developer or applicant works with us. Sometimes we're waiting until the very last second for a piece of information that's a critical path item.
Sure.
And it gets to be a little bit tough. But no such problems like that this month. It was pretty easy. We only had 2 items on the agenda.
Okay.
Both of them are friends from the cannabis industry again.
Okay.
And, of course, they were looking forward to getting things moving forward.
Well, I would imagine because that's a new industry to the state, it's going to have the most growth of any industry till it kind of catches up, so to speak.
Yeah. So they were. We actually had two applications on the opposite end of town. One down near the Coca-Cola factory, I think it is, down on South Main.
All right.
South Main, heading towards the air base, and then another one, the old A&W building, the one that
here downtown,
a little north of official downtown, but anyway, that was
formerly Carl's Jr., formerly a couple things.
So the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to approve both of those and move them on to the City Council. So the last item for those 2 applicants will be to be at the City Council meeting in January, which I believe is the 9th.
So it's the second Thursday.
It's the second Thursday.
Yeah,
whatever that day that falls on.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to do math in my head. It's not working this morning.
So I'm in radio. They told me there was no math.
Yeah. You just have to be eloquent. And,
that's right.
Know the difference between expeditious and expedient.
Tomato.
There you go. All right. Anyway, so those 2 items will be on the first City Council agenda of the year, along with a few other things. But it's going to be. We're looking forward to a really exciting 2023 in our department. If you've read the newspaper over the last few days, you saw that the after what seems like an interminable number of delays. It looks like the Development Services Center is finally going to open in January. We should finally be able to move in.
Good.
The last few items on the checklist are being taken care of. Our real estate manager, Todd Versiglio, down at the city, he's been on top of that, making sure that everything gets taken care of. And they've told us to start packing our boxes and labeling our furniture and everything else, and we've got a layout for the move. So it's just
a
new
move in 2023. Here.
Yeah, we'll be moving over, but that's really exciting because that's, I think, really going to help us improve the level of customer service to the city and to the not only to the homeowners and the builders and the developers, but to everyone, business people and everybody else, everybody that needs our services.
Sure.
Being able to come into that new building, having everybody in one place, one location, instead of having 1 or 2 windows to serve people, we'll have 5.
Okay.
We'll have new customer service agents that will be able to take care of people immediately. Of course, we're also working on our web portal and things like that, so we'll be able
people
to
can do online stuff,
online, electronic.
Maybe avoid the trip to the office.
Yeah.
I got
So
you.
it's going to be very, 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 very interesting. It'll be a lot of fun. The other thing we're looking forward to is, as you probably read, the City Council approved the new professional services agreement between the city and Main Street Roswell.
Yeah.
And I would think I've been telling you every month for the last couple of months, we're looking forward to just really moving forward well with them and really focusing on the needs of the people downtown.
Sure.
Making it just a great, 2023 for everybody.
It makes sense because at the end of the day, both entities really want the same thing. They want a thriving, downtown area because it's good for everyone. It's good for the city. It's good for Main Street. It's good for locals. It's good for all of us.
There really is no downside to our local business community prospering. There really isn't. And for that matter, I look even at our local homeowners as part of that community as well, because obviously they're paying their property taxes, they're buying all the things to fix up their homes and redecorating. So when I have somebody come in that just wants something as simple as, the other day I had a lady come in and she was looking for a home occupation permit. She wanted to start her own home-based business. And I just walked her through the process right there while she was in the office. Made sure that she knew and understood what all she needed, the documentation she needed, all the things, helped her fill out the forms. She, I think, had to go home and get her checkbook or had to finish getting something. But she came back yesterday afternoon, walked through the door with her application, and she said, the young lady next door said you needed to sign off on this if you approved it. I said, all right. I signed off on it, and that was my Christmas present to that happy homeowner and now new business owner. Nice. So it was, those are the kind of things that just really they make your day.
Sure.
They really make your day. When somebody comes in and they've got a problem or they have a question or they have a dream, in this particular case, they wanted to achieve.
Sure.
And you're able to sit right there and walk them through it and watch them leave with a big grin on their face and just happy.
Yeah. So it kind of spurs a question here. We always talk about the planning and what we got coming up and things, but what if folks are interested in starting their own businesses, doing things as far as city resources on learning what the proper protocols, paperwork, is it just a trip to your office, or do you recommend do some research on the website? What would you recommend people do if they're kind of doing their planning and researching side of starting their own business?
That's one of the first things that I did when I got here in Roswell 2 years ago is I wanted to learn about the differences in the procedures, and every state is slightly different. And what I found out is that it's just a little bit cumbersome to start a business here in New Mexico.
They don't set the table very well for you.
They really don't. So I went ahead and put together a complete checklist. Okay, you needed to determine the form of your business first. Was it going to be a sole proprietorship? Is it going to be an LLC? All those other things. And then from there, go to the state website, the Secretary of State website, and do a name search if you're going to use it. Okay. Once they don't have a name, then you want to bounce back out of that and then go to the registration, through the registration process. Keeping in mind that while you're online with them, you also have to go to a different website and make a deposit of money so you can pay for the registration. So back and forth just a little bit, a couple of times. You get all the way through that, and the state, if you do it online, the state's really responsive. It took less than 24 hours to get the actual approval of the business name, your LLC being filed, and everything else. Then from that point, you go to the federal government. And you get that wonderful taxpayer ID number. You get the taxpayer ID number. Then you bounce back to the state, but a different portion of the state. You go to the taxpayer access portal.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, this doesn't sound confusing at all.
You pull your state GRT number, your tax number. Once you have those things pulled together, then you're ready to actually fill out the application because all those numbers are required as part of the application.
So it's a lot of legwork.
It can all be done if you know where to go.
Sure.
And the one thing I've constantly reminding people is that if you do just a Google search and on let's say taxpayer identification number, federal taxpayer ID number, everything that will come to the top are for-profit businesses who will walk you through the process for a fee.
Gotcha.
Okay? And I remind people, don't click on any of those. Okay? That may be bad to hear from somebody who's very pro-business, but they are charging you for something you can do yourself.
That's a business you can do yourself.
You can do yourself. All you have to do is you have to go down near the bottom of the page. You'll see the actual IRS website.
Gotcha.
And that's where you want to go.
Well, that's a similar move with I've noticed with DMVs and stuff. When you try to renew driver's licenses, there's some third parties out there that try to that really do a good job of disguising they're a third party and think you're dealing with the DMV. But anyway, be wise of that stuff.
If you're looking, the bottom line to your entire question is, if you're looking for a third party to help you walk through, come see us. Yeah, come see us. I'm going to go ahead and as part of 2023, I'm going to be actually working with a couple of our business organizations, our economic development. I'm going to put together like a 1 hour brown bag kind of lunch, and I will actually go to these places. They can invite any of their prospective clients or customers in, people that are wanting to start a business, and we'll just give a kind of a brown bag lunch there, and
lunch and learn,
lunch and learn kind of thing, and go through that. And I'll have the checklist here, and hopefully I'll have it all worked out in language that everyone can understand at that point. That's always because I do tend to speak the language of planning and zoning and business and development, and so I need to make sure that when people are starting a business, they don't necessarily know all the proper language. Make sure I've got all the links and everything into it.
Well, it's and generally when a person starts a business, their passion is for their product.
Yes,
they're not getting into business because they love paperwork. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's that's their expertise is whatever they want to sell, whatever widget it is. Yeah, and so. But you're not going to be successful without doing this paperwork, without doing
exactly.
And that's where reach out to Kevin, reach out to your resources, and utilize them.
Anytime I have somebody come into my office to talk about that kind of stuff, or I even meet someone on the street, and I'm thinking about starting a business, and I ask them what business they're in. I try to very gently remind them that there are two major reasons why most small businesses fail, and most small businesses do fail within about 3 to 5 years if they make it.
If they're going to fail,
if they're going to fail, and the two reasons: number one, depending on the type of business, you may be undercapitalized. You just don't have enough money to carry you through until you're ready to you start making a profit. But the second reason is exactly what you just described. People have a passion for their product or the passion for the service, or they have all the skills. And what I call this is the technical ability to do the job.
Sure.
Okay. But they haven't studied what it means to be in business.
Right.
They haven't studied management. They haven't studied marketing. They haven't studied all these other things. So I always recommend that they get a hold of the local, the SBDC office out, or they get a hold of Main Street Roswell, or they get a hold of the chambers, either one of the chambers, depending on what they are, and get involved with these groups that they are all about teaching about business and what to understand. None of these people that when you're passionate about doing something and you're finally ready to make that move, jump out on your own, they don't have 2 years to go get an MBA,
right,
and figure out how to be a business person.
Let me get the business finance 101.
They're looking to go into business in the next 24 hours.
Sure. They're like, how do I start a website? How do I get a brick and mortar? Let's get this going.
So this is kind of the New Year's resolution that our office has made, is that we're going to be ready and available to assist our business community in whatever way we can. And if we can't help them, I want to understand what that problem is that they're facing so that we can dig into it as well and figure out what is the path to success for these people.
Yeah.
That all comes down to our, having the building, changing the name over to the Development Services Center, and being truly customer friendly.
Yeah.
And
do they have an ETA on when you guys will be fully moved in and actually working out of that building?
I would love to give you that answer, but I've been told, just because of the problems we've had, and just because we're still dealing with it, like every business is. We're still dealing with labor issues. We're still dealing with the ability to get equipment and things that we need. So when we will start moving in sometime this month. When will we be fully moved in and fully operational? That's kind of a function of how quickly we get some of the electronics and other things that we need, because we have a conference room that'll be in that building there. That'll be the place we're hoping to have all of our future Planning and Zoning Commission meetings, and have other meetings and training sessions. But of course, in a post-COVID world, people have kind of come to expect that all those meetings, yes, we'd like them to be available and open to the public, but you know what? It's even better if we can just click on YouTube or GoToMeeting or any of those
whatever
others.
virtual link you can.
We have a lot of out-of-town clientele that appreciates that as well. That we record those things via GoToMeeting. People can participate electronically. So we still may be holding those meetings over in the convention center for a short time until we're fully
the technology comes over
until the technology comes in. We're fully operational. So I'll come in once a month and update you.
There you go. Stay tuned on that.
Stay tuned.
But I'm thinking probably about February timeframe. Hopefully, the plans have aligned and computer equipment, everything has arrived.
Let's hope so. I've about the only thing I've been told I've been allowed to say is sometime during the first quarter.
Gotcha. There you go. So between now, January and March.
Let's hope. I've made predictions in the past and had to come back and eat crows.
That's right.
My crystal ball stopped working about the end of the first year I was here in Roswell. So I don't rely on that anymore. I do my best to ground my predictions in some little smidgen of truth and accuracy. So
real quick, just any updates on some of current business construction and stuff? I know we still see our Popeyes, we still see our Firehouse Subs. Any updates you guys have heard on any times or anything on those?
Other than Popeyes is still moving forward. It's still doing well. Firehouse Subs, the last we heard, they should be. Did
they change ownership or something? Or? I've heard a couple things. I have no idea what's true.
I haven't dug into it very deeply, but the issues that I've been told are at the Firehouse Subs corporate level. Okay,
gotcha.
And they've had some problems with some SEC filings and some other things, and so they're working through those. So,
well, I wonder, are they a little different because of the way they're? Because they donate to local firefighters, and I don't know if there's something in the paperwork there that they have to do.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I just know that's their whole marketing thing.
I have never delved into the idiosyncrasies of franchising.
Yeah.
So and
each franchise has probably a weird set of rules.
There are attorneys out there in the world that make an entire career out of being able to deal with franchise agreements and things like that. So just because the rules on franchising, at the federal and state level are so intense. So I try not to do anything other than rely on what I've been told by the developer.
Gotcha.
And I know the developer is right now thinking about moving forward on a second site here in town, for a little further north on Main Street. Whether that will also contain another Firehouse Subs or not, I don't know. It looks like it's set up for a quick serve restaurant, but that hasn't been announced. But then, of course, if you've been on the Down Country Club, you can still see that the surgical center is the new surgical center. Outpatient is going vertical, and I think one of the things I'm just amazed at, and I shouldn't be amazed, but I take a look at the steakhouse.
The Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse.
Yes.
And I don't know, you almost did the same thing.
I know.
No, that's the other steakhouse, Texas Roadhouse, at how busy they are every day of the week.
They are.
They open at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and they are just packed until they close. And really happy to see that level of success.
Yes. Well, they put out a product that people like, and it's good. And I think I don't know if everybody in Roswell's eaten there at least once yet, but I think we've come close to it.
But we've had over the past few months, the thing that doesn't get nearly as much attention is how many new businesses have occupied existing buildings.
Mm-hmm.
They've come in and they've renovated, and we're seeing a lot more of that kind of activity.
Burritos and More just opened up. That used to be a car dealership there on Main and Country Club there, or Main and Main and Country Club.
Yeah. So we got that. What we in the industry we call adaptive reuse.
Yeah,
there we go. So it's adapted to another thing. I actually drove through there for the first time the other day and was quite pleased with the product I was served.
Yeah.
So it's the first time I've ever been there. But
I've never been to that one yet. I've been to their one that was on Second, and they always put good food out there.
I know I'd driven by there specifically to go try it like 4 or 5 times before that, and the line wrapping around the building.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
There's got to be a good reason for that. Yeah, so I finally was down there one day when the line was only about half as long, and I said, I better go ahead and hit it and take the chance, But I said, restaurants reopening, other small businesses reopening. We've got a number of different people that are looking. I understand the real estate industry itself, in spite of some of the challenges that they're facing right now with interest rates and inflation and things.
But there's still supply and demand.
There's still supply and demand. There is that, and yes, the market for single family stuff has slowed a little bit, but it's still strong enough that people are still out there making good money.
Sure.
And but we're also starting to see movement in the commercial industry, the commercial side of the house. So those are going to be all the things that we're going to be looking for in 2023 is making sure that, especially here in downtown, that any of these buyers, any of these people that want to come in and renovate their buildings to start businesses, that we work very closely with Main Street Roswell, because they have the resources and access to all kinds of different programs and grants and opportunities that the city does not necessarily have, except working directly through them.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you kind of pull your resources a little bit and kind of in that way, and obviously it works both ways, because there's many resources and things that the city can tap into that Main Street doesn't necessarily have their abilities to get into too. So it can be a real positive relationship.
Well, and that's I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. Is why it's been so important to me to help not just regain the trust of Main Street Roswell, but regain the trust of the Main Street businesses as well, and prove over the past year, working with Barbara Gomez and working with the new incoming board of Main Street, that we are partners in it. We both have different talents, different abilities, different accesses, different resources, but it's us working together that creates that positive environment that will drive downtown forward.
And I think we get so lost in details and our individual end games that we forget the big picture sometimes, and we all forget that, look, we're all here because we want a great, thriving community. We want this city to be a place where the people that live here want to stay here and shop and work and live their lives and invite others to come and be a part of our community. We all want the same thing. We may not agree on what elements to put in to make that goal achieved, but we all want that. And if we all come from a place of, hey, we're all doing this for the betterment of the community, maybe we can, like we said, put aside the histories and the differences and the things that have all gone on that we all know about over the years. And all that.
And that was one of the advantages that I had just walking through the door.
Yeah.
I don't have all that
you don't
history.
carry that baggage. You don't carry that baggage.
I don't carry that baggage.
Yeah.
I come in, it's like, this is what we need to do, and this is, we need to work together to achieve this, so where do we go from here?
Sure. Absolutely. But And this is the small town, every time and I don't care what small town in USA you're going to hear that it's the same in every small town. It's just, when you live in a smaller community and everyone, knows everybody or knows families or knows histories and all that, it's good and bad at sometimes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when it comes to the government level, that's where it can get a little muddy.
There's also some, when people ask me, how do you like Roswell? And I am an unabashed fan for a lot of different reasons. And my wife is too, which makes it even better for us being here. But the town that I grew up in California is so much like Roswell. I mean, the Roswell's at 3,500 foot elevation. I was in the high desert at 3,000 foot elevation. So we had the Four Seasons. We had a very similar, we had Joshua trees. You guys have Adam's needles. They're all yucca plants of one type or another.
Desert dwellers.
We're all desert dwellers. We all have that. It is interesting that I grew up in the general geographic area that I grew up in was called the Antelope Valley. I didn't see an antelope until I moved here. And now I see him at least twice a year migrating, which is amazing. I've taken videos and sent them back home and go, look, I only had to move 1,000 miles to see an animal. Yes, which is fun.
That is funny.
And then but we, when I graduated high school, the city I grew up in was about 35,000 people. Okay. That city is now 165,000 people.
Wow.
Okay. And when you see that kind of massive growth, it really engenders a lot of strong feelings on both sides of the table.
Sure.
You get people that are, oh my gosh, we're going to lose our small hometown feel and the vibe and everything else. We don't want to be a suburb of Los Angeles. We don't want that. And then you get other people going, yeah, but this is our chance.
It's real nice to have things that are in our backyard and amenities and things
all the
like
amenities.
that.
Yeah. And it was so that we're kind of in that a little bit right now.
But you want that balance.
Yeah,
you want because obviously you want growth. You want that thing, but at the same time you don't want to lose your individuality, your essence, your culture, what you are.
And I really do think it's where that relationship between the city and Main Street Roswell, between the city and the Historic Preservation Society, the Historical Society down there, the city, and we've just recently started reaching out to the people in Chihuahuita. Okay,
that's a great project that's going on. Sergeant Frescus with the RPD has kind of spearheaded that one.
And she is doing a magnificent job.
Yeah.
She keeps me posted on everything else. She makes sure I'm invited to all the meetings so that we can hear the concerns of the people, and we're going to be moving forward on that. But then, of course, we've got all our historic railroad district as well.
Yeah,
and so that's already in the works, taking care, preserving those historic resources, maintaining that small town feel. And yet we have the other end of the spectrum where the north end of towns, the south end of town, the airport and everything else, we can engage the new development, the new housing and everything, and bring it all in. I do honestly believe we have the opportunity to have the best of both worlds here.
I think you're right. And I think it takes time and takes some great planning and some a lot of dedicated work. But it could and this is why they have the battles in city council and all the other things to get this figured out. So good deal. I just saw the time. Is there anything we wanted to make sure we mentioned, or we pretty much cover everything? I know we got a little philosophical, which I love doing, but it takes you off the beaten path a little bit.
No, I just think if you'll allow me just one moment here, I do want to just restate, number one, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
Not just to you, sir, but to the entire, all the residents of the city of Roswell.
Yeah.
And again, if you're looking to start a business, if you're looking to grow a business, if you're looking to buy property, if you're looking to be a developer, please do not hesitate to come by our office.
Sure.
We are here to serve. We are working on our customer service. We are doing everything we can to be of service to this community. And that is our ultimate goal, is to make sure. I don't think we'll ever be 100% successful 100% of the time, but I would like to be successful more often than not.
Absolutely. And the goal, the end game of your department is the same as the people coming through your doors. They want to make sure your business is a successful business, and you're and you are just having nothing but success. They want the same thing because it's a win for everybody.
Absolutely.
So think about that when you come in, and when you come with your questions, come with your information, and if you have, let their experts come and put you in the right direction of what you need to do, especially with small business, because like we were talking earlier, if your passion's the widget. Sometimes you get a little naive on the how to market and sell and be successful with the widget, and let the city and their resources.
Like I said, and beyond the city, all of our local business organizations.
As someone who serves on the chamber, the Roswell chamber, there's a lot of resources at that chamber, Hispano chamber, all
Main Street, the EDC,
yes,
SBDC down at the airport. So all of those resources are available to any of our small businesses, even our home-based businesses. They're there as well too. So don't discount the power of the home-based business. There's a lot of people. The reason you're going to see the face of downtown change and shift just a little bit, you're going to see more residential opportunities in some of our mid-rise buildings, I think, in the future, is that more and more people are working out of their own homes now. They're taking advantage of the fact that well, I'm just going to say it. I have the highest of high-speed internet I've ever had anywhere. right here in Roswell.
Sure.
And it's the most consistent service I've ever had. That to me spells, success on the home business side.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you got consistent fiber, which is available in a lot of spots here.
Yep.
But you're right. And of course, businesses evolve too. Maybe you start as a home-based business and work your way up to the brick and mortar, or how many restaurants start as a food truck and then turn into a brick and mortar.
Yeah, that's a subject we haven't even talked about recently. Is the whole food truck industry. There are so many different ways to get into business and start a business with much less cost than going the full brick and mortar thing. I've been talking to here's something that'd be really interesting. Was talking to someone about an incubator not long ago, where you would get small businesses that are coming in, learning about business, having that office, front office kind of thing, but being able to cooperate and collaborate with other people
like
who
a
are
business center, so to speak.
Almost. So that was something that's being discussed out there. I don't have any real details on it, but it is something that's
on the horizon.
On the horizon, possibly, yes.
Very good. Of course, go to the city's website, roswell-nm.gov, if you have any questions related to anything in Kevin's department here, too. And, of course, even if you want to pay your water bill, all that, it's roswell-nm.gov there.
But if you need our services, there's a tab right there for the Community Development Department, and the tabs underneath that, you'll see everything from business license to code enforcement to planning and zoning, and even our building and inspections group. So you'll be able to at least get some basic information, and then if we can't answer all your questions on the web,
get your cup of coffee, do your reading in your underwear and your pajamas on that website this morning. Then when you're ready, you can go make a phone call over to the city or come by.
Right.
do your underwear research or at the website.
There you go.
So, well, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to you and your family and everyone at the office there, and tell everyone we thank them for their service to the community, and we look forward to bigger and exciting things in the new year.
We do. Thank you, sir. Likewise, and I will pass on that greeting.
All right, and don't work too hard.
I'm not sure that's in the job description.
Yeah. I always joke. I tell people I work hard at not working hard. Yeah. Well, thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it. We'll see you in 23.
All right.
It is 7:54. Quick
facility following the Wednesday ordeal. School administration and police are crediting other students for notifying their teachers when they found out the boy had the gun. A brief lockdown of the school on Wednesday, but no other problems were found. You're up to date. That's a look at local news headlines this hour. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street begins the week on a positive note. Following last week's rally, the benchmarks opened higher this morning. Investors hope that slowing U.S. wage gains can cool the decades-high inflation that prompted the Fed to hike interest rates at a furious pace last year. McDonald's former CEO Stephen Easterbrook charged by federal regulators with making false and misleading statements to investors about the circumstances leading to his firing in November of 2019. British government ministers are meeting trade union leaders in a bid to end a wave of strikes that has hobbled the UK's rail network and its overburdened healthcare system. Hundreds of striking nurses manning picket lines outside Mount Sinai Hospital on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Walkouts at Mount Sinai and Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx began this morning in disputes over pay and staffing. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to two amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. House Republicans are deciding if they can support the House rules package to be voted on today. Bernie Bennett has more.
At least 2 moderate Republicans expressed their reservations about supporting the rules package, citing what they described as secret deals and the disproportionate power potentially being handed out to a group of 20 conservatives. South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace said she's currently on the fence about the proposed rules. Texas Republican Tony Gonzalez said he was an outright no against the rules package, decrying an insurgency caucus that he said would cut defense spending and push extremist legislation such as on immigration. Ohio Republican Jim Jordan defended the concession Speaker McCarthy made and said that he believes that the rules package will get enough Republican support to pass. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, another series of storms in California this week could raise the potential for rising rivers